I bought a top so clean, they should put my ass in textbooks. Every time I think I'm Warren Buffett, market turns me back into a crackhead. Got 6 monitors, no idea what I'm looking at. Clicking buttons with conviction like confidence is a trading stat. Broker sends notifications like he's checking if I'm still alive. Portfolio got more red flags than 6 ex-girlfriends combined. I turned a small account into a smaller account, now that's consistency. Lost so much money in my 20s, I accidentally purchased humility. Everybody loves the screenshots, nobody posts the pain. Nobody shows the group chat after blowing up the plate. Now about my own decisions, that's the craziest part. Turn bad ideas and caffeine into accidental art. Now they're asking for the secret like I planned this from the start. Nah, I just kept clicking buttons and somehow it all worked out. Somehow it all worked out. Somehow it all worked out. My account been through more cycles than a washing machine from hell. 1 week feeling like Jordan Bell, for next week selling furniture on Craigslist. Yeah. Every earnings season I become a different religion. Praying to charts, candles, volume, and poor decision making. At a stock drop 40%, I called it long-term investing. My therapist asked how it's going, I sent her my broker statement now. She needs therapy. Every time I finally get comfortable, the market starts feeling romantic. Tells me everything looks amazing, then immediately becomes toxic. I survive my own decisions, that's the craziest part. Turn bad ideas and caffeine into accidental art. Now they're asking for the secret like I planned this from the start. Nah, I just kept clicking buttons and so it all worked out. Somehow it all worked out. Somehow it all worked out.
Oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, brother. Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome back to a specialty episode of the Matt Kohrs Show. Folks, it ain't just a Friday. It ain't just a payday Friday. It is a SpaceX IPO day. Elon Musk is most likely about to become a trillionaire. Not a millionaire, not a billionaire. It ain't cool to have 500, 600, 700 billion anymore. What's cool is $1 trillion. $1 trillion is what we are. Why is this? There we go. All right. Now I can actually hear myself. $1 trillion. You better suit up, folks, because we're going to space. Now, if you ask me, my personal opinions are that it's going to be rocky. I think what's going on today is a classic retail trap. That's my opinion. I don't think that this is necessarily worthwhile to invest on day one. I'm a big fan of the company. I just think you're going to be able to get in at a cheaper price if you wait a couple months. But that's not going to stop me from buying at least one share to say that I was involved in day one. Now, if you're an active trader, yeah. No, I think there's going to be a ton of trades, upside, downside, inside out. People are saying that Elon Musk is currently on CNBC. Let's see if we could get that rocking.
Oh, she's in New York, of course. Where is she?
What's he doing? Market's opening in 4 minutes, folks.
And
4
yeah,
minutes.
it is certainly hard to believe that a little company that started in a warehouse in El Segundo is now going public for with the largest IPO that ever. And let me tell you, if people had told me this was going to happen, I was like, man, you must be smoking some really good crack. Because
Whoa.
I think this company's going to fail. I mean, I gave SpaceX less than a 10% chance of succeeding at all, to be clear. In fact, I told people this. I said, look, we're probably going to fail, but we should give it a try, because if we don't, if there's not a new company that enters space, we will never be a truly spacefaring civilization. While the other aerospace companies, they build good rockets and everything, they were simply not pursuing the technology that's necessary to make life multiplanetary, to make Star Trek, to make the exciting science fiction futures that we've read about real. And that's what SpaceX is all about, is to take the fiction out of science fiction and create an exciting, inspiring future for everyone. We want to be able to take anyone who wants to go to the moon, anyone who wants to go to Mars, or anyone in the solar system, and maybe beyond the solar system at some point. We want to be able to take you there. Not just a few astronauts. I mean, you, literally you. If you watch, whoever you are watching this, SpaceX wants to be able to take you to the moon, take you to Mars, and ultimately beyond. And I'm confident at this point that with the incredible team that we have here at SpaceX, that we will do that for you.
A little bit delayed, but all right. Buckle up, Buttercup.
I always think about this. There are always problems on Earth. There are always problems on Earth. There are always things that we wish to be better, that we want to solve here on Earth, and we should solve them. But there also have to be things that get you excited about the future, that make you glad to wake up in the morning, because you can't wait to see what happens next. And that's the future that SpaceX wants to bring to you. Yeah.
Woo! Cheering. All right, market just opened. Let's flip it over.
As Musk addresses the troops, let's get the opening bell at the big board.
All right.
Dingity ding ding ding. The world's largest casino is now open. Best of luck to all. Play responsibly, and if not, have fun.
Celebrating its record-breaking IPO.
All right, it's not trading yet. It's expected to trade midday, but let's see the opening. SPY slightly green, Q slightly red.
Illinois Public Pension Fund Association, nonprofit founded in 1985. Jim, watching him speak, you reminded this company's almost a quarter century old.
No, it is. It gives you chills. I mean, maybe that's
Piper, come on. Piper's all jacked up today.
I was reading Peggy Noon last night. She's one of my absolute favorites. She's talking about how there's certain things that for the
Piper, we're trying to code stuff.
Years of our country,
we're getting ready for the launch.
About Rocky, I get that. It was a nice dramatic piece that she wrote. I see it. I see Rocky, and I give her SpaceX. I think that this is a monumental, hardworking story that David. I really think most Americans seem to be able to. This is something we can unite.
All right. We have so much to talk about today. Tesla's up on the screen. SPY, Q, SpaceX once again, probably trading midday today.
Ethereal, maybe even sappy. I don't mind that. But that we can unite on this. I think most Americans are very proud of this. There'll be some Americans say he's a trillionaire. It's not right. I don't think that's.
Get ready, folks.
For most Americans.
We're watching history today. This is where the fun begins. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you guys think that this is going to go well or poorly. I'm going to let the market open a little bit, and then we're going to get into some very important details. What are we doing here? But I want to see.
Future, sure.
Yeah.
They're having. Ooh, I guess everyone's spamming CNBC right now. Very quickly. I'm trying to get some strategies set up here. Strategies, folks. We're going to debut 2 new trading strategies today. One is called Quant Father. The other is called Quant Mother. I don't know what's going on with CNBC. It's telling me to refresh it. Remember, it hasn't debuted yet. If you're tuning in and you're like, dude, where is it? It has not officially started trading quite yet, but it's not going to stop us from doing degenerate trades. That's for darn sure. That is for darn sure, brother. Right, Lucid. All right, the 2 strategies are live. I need to speed up what in the heck I am doing. Okay. Is that applied to the right one? Yes, it is. All right, we're ripping it today. We're just going to rip it. I haven't really tested this strategy. We're just going to see how it all goes. We're going to see how it all goes. We don't need that. All right. Strategies are enabled.
Order submitted.
What
Order
the
submitted.
fuck? Where? Order submitted on what? Nothing's trading, right? Did you guys hear that or did I hear it? Am I losing my mind right now? I don't think, because it's not supposed to turn on until 9:35, so I don't know what that was about. But we're going to see it. This is the debut of 2 new day trading strategies. Number 1, the Quant Father. Number 2, the Quant Mother. Will it make me money? I have absolutely no idea. Did I backtest it? Not really. Did I test it in production? Definitely not. Am I hopeful and optimistic? I'll tell you better at the end of the day, folks. I will tell you better at the end of the day. So we're ripping it. We're live. All right. Let's get some VWAP in there, and let's get some other VWAP in there. Let's see how this opening session is really going to play out. Well, you're going to hear it if it gets going.
Order submitted.
Oh, first trade. What did it do? No, it's going to rate limit out. Fuck. Okay. No, I already know this is going to... Why did it not fix that from last time? Not good. Okay. All right. We got to make improvements or it's going to get that rate limit issue
Order
again.
submitted.
Come on. Is the first trade winning? We always can judge the quality of
Order failed.
Well, that trading system is bound to fail. But anyway, what can I do from here? All right. I need to work quickly to try to fix this. Notepad. All right. First one is Quant Father. All right. Let's see. I need you to fix this code. The orders should
Order submit. Order
be
submitted.
synthetic.
Order
hit the
failed.
Market. The order should be synthetic and then hit the market. Fuck. Why is this not letting me copy and paste this? No. And it already took 2 losing trades? What What the hell is it doing, dude? Oh. What direct? These were shorts?
Order submitted.
I think it's doing.
Order filled.
What the fuck is this code doing? Quant father. This is wrong.
Order submitted.
That's quant father, right? It's trying to buy? What are you doing, buddy? What are you doing, buddy? Quant father? Quant mother? Quant father? Quant mother? Okay. The orders should not be shown on the chart. I'm looking for synthetic orders, i.e., when the price is hit, execute a market order.
Order submitted.
Yeah, because it's freaking me out every single time it says that. That's not what it should be doing. Execute a market order. I'll be hitting rate limit issues otherwise. All right, we're fixing it. We're fixing it in real time. What is this trade? This trade also doesn't really make the most sense to me, but hey, it is what it is. We're lit in AI run wild today, folks. I'm feeling lucky. I'm feeling lucky with it. Out of the gate, not so good. I'll be honest. Out of the gate, does not feel the best. How did we already lose? Jesus, that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. What is it trying to do? So it's trying to buy limit with no trade. So it's trying to buy this random
Order filled.
drop in the market.
Stop. Order submitted.
Okay, well, that's fun. Just getting absolutely murdered out of the gate, but something caught it. Oh, brother. And these ones are some, I didn't a trade.
Order submitted.
Positions.
Order filled.
All right, I'm just getting them back in sync. So something happened really quickly there that we're going to have to go to the scoreboard and figure out what the fuck that actually was. What was that? So it took a short at 944, a short, and then captured it right there on that dump. So I am splitting it up. Quant mother is the one that's up money. Quant father is the one that's currently down money. So I did halvesies. We're testing out two things in real time. And To be honest, it's kind of been nothing but a train wreck thus far. But hey, we have a lot of craziness left in the day. We're going to figure it out. Bad coding, obviously. Well, of course it's bad coding. You have no one else to blame but me, folks. I'm the one who coded it.
All right. To be bigger than some.
To share that a short while ago, the entire trading floor.
All right, I'm gonna let you listen to this. Watch the market. You can watch SpaceX as I need to fix the code. As you rightfully pointed out, it is 100% me. So just give me a break, guys.
Here, and people have been very glued into everything that's happening.
All right, and then they're having issues again over there. How is CNBC having issues? Is that how many people are interested in this? Like, are they like actually crashing CNBC? Yeah, something's going on weird here. Something weird.
We are here. They're currently in the process of making a market for SpaceX stock, basically pulling in the buy orders and the sell orders.
Yeah, that's why it's not trading quite yet, because they're trying to set it up to help with some of the volatility, but I think it's still going to be nuts.
As a science, and you guys know we cover this all the time. If it opens too low, the stock can overshoot, and that's not great for the stock in the long run. If it opens too high and there's not enough support, it could fall. So it's really important, you know, what the opening price is, and all of that is being conducted right here at Morgan Stanley as they're studying where these indications are looking like.
What a
and
day.
The NASDAQ window opens at about 9:50 in a few minutes from now.
What time is SpaceX expected? Midday is all we know right now.
Indications be published, and we'll get a sense as to whether this is looking like an up deal or a down deal.
So Leslie, they seem very confident that they can contain the deal to it so it doesn't open at, say, 4 or 5 trillion. What stock do they have in hand to feel that way? Or are they going to accounts and say, listen, if it's over $2.5 trillion, we're going to release you and you can sell half? What is the chatter of how they're able to stabilize it on the upside? They can stabilize on the downside, but on the upside, I've never seen it done.
Connection lost.
So confident.
And we're losing connections. So nice. Nice.
Yeah, there is really no formal mechanism in place to stabilize it on the upside. That's why that opening price is so important. You want to make sure that you have enough volume that you feel comfortable. You're not opening it at too low of a level that would cause it to shoot up at the open. But
trying to update the code very quickly. I did a very rapid fix.
If the stock drops at
Will
the
it
open,
work?
that's called the green
Your guess
shoe, which
is
is
as
essentially
good
when
as mine.
they will sell more shares than they have, and then they will cover those in order to stabilize the stock. You know, so that's the mechanism they have on kind of if the stock drops. But to the upside, it's a lot more challenging.
Now saying, criticizing the Iranian drone attack, he says, on some Indian vessels. Says they, quote, better get their act together. We'll watch that along with more coverage of SpaceX's public debut after the break.
All right, code is updated. Code is ready to go. All right, so out of the gate, we had one winning trade on Quant Mother, and we had 2 losing trades on Quant Father with extra slippage on one of these bad mamma jammas. Let me reconnect to that. But let's see if we can somehow salvage the day. Let's see if we can somehow salvage this day. Okay, and I don't think we've missed any trades. 941, 941. What in the world was that trade? I don't know. Folks, we're just ripping it today. It's going to be what it's going to be. You know, some things are in my control and other things aren't. I did my best to put this code together. I didn't sleep. I was trying to get ready for Payday Friday. Ooh, on that particular note, as we're waiting to see how this plays out, folks, if you're just joining, pinned at the top of chat in the description of the video, we are doing Payday Friday. We're giving away not 1, not 2, not 3, but 10 different prop accounts for free, and on top of that, $150 of cold hard cash, free for everyone to get involved in. If you're watching this right now, if you're listening to this right now, all you have to do is like, retweet, and follow. It's pinned to the top of chat. It's in the description of the video. That's all you have to do to get involved, like retweet and follow. And then we're going to do a drawing later on today, maybe in roughly like an hour. By the way, shout out to TPT, code Goonie, still 40% off. You can get rocking trading with their money, their accounts for 40% off, as cheap as $100. And then if you're more of an options trader, well, code Goonie is going to get you 35%
Order
off on
submitted.
Vanquish. Oh, we're trading. Which one's trading? Which one's trading?
Order canceled.
Hey, it made money. That was money. Somehow it made
Order
money.
submitted.
Is it? It's short. It's short one. What are we doing? It's short. What's its target?
Order canceled.
Okay, it made money twice. Folks, we're turning it around. Round of applause. Quant Father, the red accounts, the bottom half of the accounts, it was a rough start to the day. Let's be honest. It was a really, really rough start. You know, you talk to AI a little, you say, hey, brother, the money's going red, not green. Please fix one shot. And then we updated that code and already. All right, the newest variant, it is working. The newest variant is currently working.
And that's what SpaceX is all about. It's to take the fiction out of science fiction and create an exciting, inspiring future for everyone.
All right.
We
Let's
wanna
see if we
be
can
able
get it
to
back
take
green.
Anyone who wants to go to the moon, anyone who wants to go to Mars, or anyone in the solar system, and maybe beyond the solar system at some point.
That's Musk
wanna be able to
talking.
take you there.
Couple things. That's a speech we already heard.
Not just a few astronauts. I mean,
Couple cool
you.
things I want to talk
Literally
about right here. SpaceX IPO opening price. There's some bets going on. 82% chance it's somewhere between 150 and 200. I think that's pretty likely. So that's the opening share price. You can bet on that on Polymarket. And then you could also bet on the closing share price. Right now, the leading odds, 66% chance in that exact same bucket, 150 to 200. So just want to give you the odds. It's not like the most likely thing in the world, but it's more likely than not that we both open and close within the price bucket of 150 to 200, which would be putting a rough valuation on this company about like 1.75-ish trillion dollars. Right now on Hyperliquid, where people are trading the contracts, which I'm not going to say this is the best caveat in the world. It is trading at 171. Once again, this is on Hyperliquid, so it's not like the real thing. Oh, I think it traded again. And I turned the volume down so you couldn't hear. But look at trade 3 right there. Bada bing, bada boom. Bada bing, bada boom. Bada bing, bada boom. 3 in a row. This is our comeback tour. I should rename this strategy the Knicks right now because we started off pretty rough. Then it got even worse. But now, all of a sudden, halftime, we take a little bit of magic powder. We come out, we're refreshed, we're rejuvenated, we're ready to go. And bada bing, bada boom, bada bong. 3 in a row, we're on our comeback tour. Folks, we are on our comeback tour as we speak. I want to get the volume up so you could hear it a little bit. But I just wanted to go over one final thing with this, but it might be trading again. So it's estimated 172. And with this, Musk, a trillionaire before 2027, 99% chance. There is a 99% chance that Elon Musk will be a trillionaire before 2027, obviously with a huge emphasis on today specifically. This is not money he has in his bank account that he can use. Obviously, this is his wealth on paper because of equity ownership in Tesla, Neuralink, Boring Company, SpaceX, Twitter, and the list goes on and on and on. So we're probably going to see the world's first documented trillionaire today. I'm saying documented because there's probably some of that Saudi money. They're already trillionaires, but there's no reason for them to like publicly disclose it. But anyway, just want to let you know that this is probably going to be sending Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren into a complete tizzy today. Into a complete tizzy. Someone said it's live. No, it's not. Stop messing with me. Playbook agency, you're just ripping on my chain right now. Inappropriate. Inappropriate. It's not live. It's right here. It'll be trading under SPCX. The reason it's not trading right now is, first of all, I just want you guys to know this is common for IPOs. It takes them a little bit to get going. And
agree with
what they're doing at Morgan Stanley, who is basically, ooh, are we going to trade again? If it pops up to 25, it should trade again. 29325, we should be trading on the NASDAQ. If this is your first time on the show and you're looking at the screen and you're like, Matt, what are you trading? I'm trading the NASDAQ futures market, the NASDAQ, NDX, QQQ. NDX is the index, QQQ is the ETF. NQ is a futures contract, and I'm trading it on many, many prop accounts. It's just a way for a lower risk financially to me to get a lot more leverage, and then obviously I can make this money on all these accounts if I hit all their other rules.
Order
All right,
submission.
we're in another position.
Kind of brings up
Is it going to make money? Come on, Quant Father.
uh,
Come on, Quant Father.
AI or Anthropic as we
Drop.
work
It's
our way
short.
through the
It's
rest of
short.
Look, I think that
Quant Father.
Order
No.
filled.
All right, loss. So we had 3 wins in a row. Win, 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 loss. So we're back down 700, but better than the 1600. What time will the SpaceX IPO start? It's not publicly available in that manner. It just says sometime midday. And that's how long it takes for Morgan Stanley to match the initial batch of large buyers and large sellers because they're trying to stamp down on some of the volatility. So we're going to be here when it goes. We're going to be here when it goes, but right here, Space Exploration Technology Corp, SPCX is the ticker. We're just waiting.
People should be right now.
You guys are saying 7 minutes. I don't think that's true. It feels a little early, but hey, let's check. What is this one? What is this one? AOC with 0 life achievements. Elon Musk is not a scientist. He's not an engineer. He's a billionaire con man with a lot of money. Can you believe it? That's crazy. Anyway, what did you get done this week? Trillionaire, dude. That's savage. All right, what are they saying about this?
Coming in at $174 a share. That would imply about a 29% jump from the IPO price of $135 per share. So we'll continue to
It's not
keep
trading
an eye
yet.
out. This is just the first
It's.
indication.
I have a feeling it's
a
going to open
very
up
long
quite a bit more
process.
above
We have
135.
several hours likely to go before this stock officially opens. But at least in terms of early indications of the supply and demand dynamic that we were describing earlier, 174 is the first indication we have gotten.
Yeah,
guys. Back to
and
you.
that's exactly what Hyperliquid is trading
How
at.
you
They're probably
look at
getting the data
health there.
from
The
this.
stabilization, you can't be too active in stabilization. 'cause people
Tesla
say
down on the day.
be aware of
AMD
it.
is
But that
up.
said, this first, and thank you,
I
Leslie.
punted
This would- you'd be
AMD
happy with this first
yesterday, and it
indication.
is
That's-
working out
It's right
beautifully.
What I want that would be
Beautifully.
about is that's a fastball right
Like I
down the
said,
perfect.
punted
And what people
AMD
say is
calls.
Order
Oh,
submitted.
we're trading.
And those who had the
Order
foresight
No.
to
filled.
put in for stock did well. That's all we can ask for the rest of the year. It's going to be a positive. It's very, very positive. They can
You know,
get
there's
that
been this
price.
one.
It
proxy
feels
to
like
a
the
certain
stop
extent
is
for
too tight,
for
doesn't it?
SpaceX's performance, which has been EchoStar, SATS, the symbol. Remember, they sold a lot of spectrum to the company. They're getting 261 million shares. I do note it's down.
Like even
rather
right there, it
substantially.
just
Now,
got wicked
Go
out
back-
seemingly
I think
for
you
no
go back,
reason.
I think it was up.
It was up. It was up 8
yesterday.
points earlier today.
All right, so 3
and so I
wins,
do wanna
2
look at a
losses on the
two-day,
newest
guys, or a
variant.
week to put it in some perspective. Yeah, there you go. So, but you can see now.
How long will it take before
Hard to follow,
SpaceX
sometimes
is
hard to follow, but there you
tradable?
see what's
No one
happened to it.
definitively knows, but most likely a couple
So
of
week to date,
hours.
it's kind of flat.
It's
Maybe
probably
being
going to
used
go
as a hedge
officially
a
live
bit.
in like the
But
public
you can back
markets
into, I mean,
in a couple of
market cap
hours.
Here, let's call it 33.6 billion. 260
Probably a couple of hours. It should trade right there.
Order
Okay, come on. We
submitted.
can't take another loss.
Oh, it's $1 more. I'm
Come
hearing
on.
in my ear. So it's gonna move around a lot, guys. We're not gonna want to keep up with it every second. That said, it's a big number.
We're going to keep up with
Well,
it
let's
every
hope they
second
can-
because we can.
That everything kind of coalesces at this level, so we don't become just inundated
Order
with flippers.
filled.
and
Yeah.
say, "Holy
All right.
cow,
This
it's a
strategy is
Twitter
not
deal."
working,
You know,
folks.
remember, the Twitter was a very tough deal.
Yes.
This
yeah, that was another one that
strategy
took a while. I would say, Jim, some of the
is not
ETF
working.
proxies, ticker
Change it to
NASA,
micros.
ticker
Probably
UFO,
should before I blow
those are all
these
down
accounts
4 to
out.
5%
But
today.
hey, shout
Yeah,
out
so the
to
AST
Quant
space
Mother.
was down.
One
Yours
trade,
not
it
bad.
made money.
Virgin, although
Not a bad
minuscule
deal.
market cap.
Yeah, the 5. Yeah. Look, I think that these proxies turned out to be
Quant Father, as you
something
can tell, is
inside
a
the
little
cell
bit more
thing.
active.
But we're
Trades
not-
quite a bit
I
more,
like the fact
and
that the
that's
market's
obviously
going
not
crazy
a
today.
good thing.
I wonder whether there are people who genuinely believe that the rhetoric in the last couple hours is that there may
When are
be,
SpaceX orders
back
going to
on
be
the
filled?
war
When it
footing,
officially
today,
debuts, which
and
is
that
probably
would
not
be
for a
very
couple
disappointing Given the
hours.
fact that we were talking about maybe a G7 settlement for the war. That
There have been reports that you might look for a signing of this
Right.
MOU in Geneva on Sunday. But the president's complaints were that some of the terms that were leaked by the semi-official news agency in Iran are, in his words, not what was in his understanding, meaning restraining Israel from Lebanon,
Order
Lebanon,
submitted.
immediate
Order
contribution
filled.
to 24 billion.
Quant
sanction
Mother's
removal,
going.
all that stuff.
yeah, it's not
Quant
not
Mother
close
is
yet.
going. What is the
Everyone's saying
target?
Oil's not. Now, oil has been.
No, oil is saying that it's over.
Yes.
Oil is saying it's over.
We will continue our coverage of SpaceX's
it is
public
short.
debut. And
What is the
including
target?
An exclusive with the company's president and COO, Gwynne Shotwell. So be sure and stay with us.
I think it's 1-to-1, so it's probably $1,150. I think it's a 1-to-1 strategy, and by I think, I'm pretty sure that's right. So if it is looking for 1,100, that is like 50 plus points. So that's all the way down here. So it's playing the rejection off of, I guess, the 50% IB. Let's go to the 1 minute here. Maybe the 500 tick just to see a little bit more data. If you're new to the show, right now we're just doing some active trades, getting ready for the SpaceX IPO. It is not publicly trading yet. They're getting ready. And when I say they, I mean Morgan Stanley is basically building out the book, getting ready for the initial auction. Remember, when things IPO, if this is your first rodeo, it doesn't IPO at market open. It's just not how things go. They tend to make their first trades on the public market roughly around midday. That's commonly how it goes. So the common question that I assume many of you have on your mind is, exactly what time is it going to start trading? That's not how it's done. We know the exact day. Today is the exact day. But in terms of the exact time, they don't really disclose it like that. When the time gets a little bit closer, there's an uptick in murmurs and that type of a thing. So maybe something to pay attention to, something to listen to. But I just want to let you know that we don't know the exact time. If previous IPOs are any indication, it's going to be around midday. So just want to throw that out there. If it were to open right now, the best indication is the IPO is 135. It looks like it's going to make its debut around 175, but that's at this exact moment. A lot of things are going to change between now and then. So we're obviously going to be keeping our what's the saying? Ear to the ground, nose to the grindstone, ears to the grindstone. We're going to be keeping something down low so we can properly hear what's going on. It starts trading in 1 minute. I don't believe it does, but we'll check. Generally, it's midday. But here, I have it up. We're not going to be missing anything. Tesla is getting hit from this. And thus far, this trade's looking decent. I mean, it's up. Is Quant Mother just that much better than Quant Father? Is that what's going on here? Quant Mother is better than Quant Father. Thus far, that is statistically true. But let's see. I'm 95% sure this is, like, there might be some slippage involved, but I think it's a 1-to-1 risk to reward is what it's attempting to target here. The time of the day is a little bit rough. It is 10 a.m. Is it going to get blown out on this 10 a.m. pump? Classic start of a new hour trade shenanigans. And unfortunately, it's going to go slightly red on this too.
It's probably been, I don't know, almost 10 years that people have been suggesting to me that I should take SpaceX public.
Quant Mother, you were the only thing keeping us alive today. Don't do this.
But I think it would be pretty cool if you could, vacation on the moon.
I wish them the best. I mean, they're inventing stuff that can, change humanity for the better.
Yeah, not trading yet.
filled.
1 trillion and maybe
Not
is it
trading
worth
yet.
3? Yeah, maybe.
The company over the next 10 or 15
Is the market
years
price announced?
is gonna be worth
That's not
10
how market
trillion,
prices are
20
determined.
trillion,
Market prices
30
are determined by the highest willing
That could
buyer
be
and the
very low.
lowest willing seller.
Pull Mars a fixer-upper.
It's not like
but
someone
I-
just sets it like that.
got a
It's an
lot of
auction
potential.
process.
I'm not a fan. What you're talking about is an unbelievably capital-intensive business.
You're going to be keeping an eye at all on that other IPO that may be happening tomorrow?
Well, I'll be watching along with the rest of you.
It's not trading.
Very
You
optimistic
guys keep
for the future.
messing
I
with
root
me.
for every entrepreneur. I'm rooting
You
for
keep
Elon.
messing with me. You can't get it on Fidelity because it's not trading yet and you didn't sign up for the IPO.
Good Friday morning. Welcome to a special edition of Squawk on the Street. I'm
How do I
Today
know if
with
I
Sarah
got
Eisen, David Faber
SPX
here,
shares or
host of
not?
the New
They
York
probably
Stock
emailed
Exchange.
you if you already
Today
did
it
it.
is all systems go as we await the public debut of SpaceX from here on the street to the NASDAQ in Times Square where the company is listing. And that is where we find our Seema Modi and Morgan Brennan. Morgan's going to bring us an exclusive with SpaceX President and CEO of Wynn Shotwell in just a moment. Leslie Picker, live from the Morgan Stanley trading floor. Of course, Morgan Stanley responsible for the opening of the stock today. We'll get you the latest indications for the first trade as we get them. And then Robert Frank, our wealth reporter, looking at how SpaceX and Tesla could propel Elon Musk to become the world's first trillionaire. In addition to Shotwell,
I thought it was announced the way that Michael Scott declares bankruptcy. Yeah, they just screamed the numbers. That would make it more exciting for sure.
Gracias owning more than 7% of the company, and Atreides Management, Gavin Baker. This is a very
Remember, we're doing a
big
giveaway
historic day,
today. We're going to do that, I don't know, around 10:45 to kill some time. All you have to do is like, retweet, and follow. It's pinned to the top of chat. It's in the description of the video. Like, retweet, and follow.
Elon Musk addressing SpaceX employees at Starbase in Texas this morning. That was just ahead
Shout
of
out
the opening bell.
to Take Profit Trader, 40% off to trade futures accounts, 35% off to trade Vanquish accounts.
Hard to believe that a little company that started in a warehouse in El Segundo is now going public for with the largest IPO that ever. And let me tell you, if people had told me this was going to happen, I was like, man, you must be smoking some really good crack, because I think this company's going to fail. I mean, I gave SpaceX less than a 10% chance of succeeding at all, to be clear.
Well, succeed it has certainly, and of course we are going to see it trading as a public company for the first time later today. Latest indications, according to Leslie, were 175. Obviously, we'll be hearing from Leslie Picker shortly as well in terms of where things stand. But if you exercise the green shoe as well, I mean, you are talking about a market value that would exceed $2 trillion. Sarah, at the open.
The numbers are staggering, and so I thought it would be helpful to just put a little bit in perspective to just
still not trading
show just
right
how
here.
Historic of
Just
a
a
day
little
it is
UFO,
and how staggering everything
an
is.
alien.
Look, in terms of how much SpaceX is raising in this IPO, $75 billion.
Maybe actually 85.7 billion.
More, right?
Yeah.
If this goes higher, but let's just go
with the green shoe, it's likely.
Okay, so let's go with 75 because that's what we were going into today.
Sorry. Okay.
And so, but even 85. I mean, look, it doesn't even come close.
Apple down. AMD's ripping. Micron is green.
How much companies were able to raise.
Tesla's down.
Nvidia's
ramping up.
The Saudi
Google's trying to ramp up.
Company,
Microsoft down.
They raised
$25.6
billion. Alibaba, which was the biggest here in the U.S.
SpaceX, nothing yet. Apple,
I mean, these
slightly
were
down.
Giant
AMD,
at the time.
ripping.
And so we're setting records there. And then at the valuation, which I know David
Micron,
could go higher
ripping.
as well, past $2 trillion.
Tesla,
Let's just stick with
slightly
the
down.
valuation at
Nvidia, trying to go back to that 50 EMA.
The company
Google trending down. Microsoft getting destroyed. Meta getting destroyed. ASML right at the all-time high. TSM ramping up.
These valuation numbers and just to show the size.
Thanks for keeping us up to date. That's what I'm here for.
And then, guys, just as far as the space economy, and I think how much has changed, as evidenced by the fact that SpaceX is going public here, is the amount of corporate spending that makes up the space economy versus government spending that makes up the space economy. Corporate spending, global space economy, let's say, is $613 billion. That's in 2024. It's obviously grown beyond that, but that's the last numbers we got. Commercial sector accounts for 78% of the global space economy. Government budgets are only 22%. That's obviously, guys, a huge reversal than where we were many, many years ago, right? Where it was the government pumping all the spending. And that is why, this is why
here's
we have
Tesla
such cutting edge innovation.
Catching a bit of a bid right now.
Is trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, I quoted earlier from the final S1 of the company, although this has been in there previously, in terms of what they see as their total addressable market. It's interesting when you heard Ron Barron, for example,
ramping up to yesterday's high. We already took it out right at open.
Any number of the companies.
We took out the overnight low, classic buying right there. That was a beautiful target at 257.
Total addressable
slightly
market
swept
of
it,
28.5
breaking
trillion.
out now.
He's talking about being a $30 trillion company. So trading
right,
at
we're
a
just waiting
multiple of
for
some
it.
kind, at least, of its total addressable market. But most of that ends up being the opportunity it sees in AI. 22.7 trillion is the total addressable market for enterprise applications. It's interesting. As much as we talk about space, as much as I hear Musk talking about space,
Patience,
and then
patience.
Starlink, the real opportunity in terms of addressing this enormous number is actually still the same opportunity that's being sought after by Anthropic and OpenAI and Alphabet and others.
Yeah, and there's a big question and whether SpaceX is doing it more profitably. Also looking at some of these new numbers from the S1. But let's get to Leslie Picker for the latest on indications for where this thing could open, Leslie.
Hey, Sarah, that first indication, 174, that's now broadened to a range. We are hearing 170 to 175 is the first indicative range that we've gotten. Now what happens is essentially Morgan Stanley, the stabilization agent, will assess through the buy orders, the
I think
sell
Robinhood
orders,
is giving me all
figure
7
out
shares. I
based
asked
on
for at
that
135,
volume,
even though I asked for
what makes
7
sense
at
in terms of the
142.50, maybe
ultimate
because I'm long with 10
opening
Tesla
price
shares.
for
Nope,
this stock, but
has
you can
nothing
see
to do with Tesla.
indicative
That's a
range. Now,
crazy assumption. It's
170
because
to
you applied for the IPO.
175, which implies at least
That would
about
be
a
insane because you
25%
hold
jump,
Tesla.
at
That's
those
just not
levels,
how it
guys.
works.
Leslie, I've been talking about this green shoe, which obviously would increase the number of shares issued to I think 638.8 million. When do we know whether that
Wow,
has
what a
actually taken
ramp
place?
starting at 946.
Usually
Positive
that won't
or
take place until the
negative
shares
gamma
have
all the way up to
officially started trading to
7485
know
could
if,
easily
they
rip through
are
this.
going up
Remember,
or down, because
the
green
purple
shoe
slash
used in
blue
different
is for
ways,
dip buyers or
based on
rip
how the
sellers.
stock
The
trades.
red
So it's
is for trend
technically
following.
a
We're on the south side of it,
stabilization and
so you have
support
trend
mechanism.
following
If the stock
all
does
the way
drop,
up to
you can
about
use that
747
15%
Piper.
over allotment
What are
to
you doing?
stabilize the stock and help bring it higher for its first day of trading. If the stock
So
goes up, the company is
look
then
for the
able
breakout
to
at
issue more shares
7435
to sell.
and then the
It's able
pump
to
to
raise
74
more proceeds
75,
for the
90,
company. So if
7500.
it
I'm
does
just watching
open
this
at
whole negative
170,
gamma region.
175, the indicative range, still a few hours to go before we really know where this opened and how it trades today. And if the bankers feel confident, if the stabilization agent
Here's
feels
a look at the
confident
options flow
to
thus far today
exercise
on the
green
S&P
shoe, that's when
500.
we will get a sense.
Nothing,
And they don't
nothing
have
till
to exercise the whole thing
743
all at
and then
once
ripped.
as
Just be
well. If
careful,
they
there
just wanna
was
do
a flow
part of
alert
it
right
and
there.
save the rest for next week. If they just want to do it while the shares are higher, they can choose to do that as well.
Leslie, thanks. We'll talk in a little bit. Leslie Picker at Morgan Stanley. Of course, a big part of the SpaceX story is the larger than usual allocation of shares to retail. And some people were already able to get exposure through products like Fundrise's Innovation Fund, which made its debut earlier this year and counts SpaceX as one of its top holdings. Joining us this morning is Fundrise CEO Ben Miller. Talk about all the things that are important and historic about today, Ben. There's the innovation, what it means for the future of space. There's the workout that capital markets are getting and the prospect for.
All right, this guy's a little bit boring, So we're gonna put oh, dude, market's pumping right now. Qs are going. Tesla's still flat. AMD is leading the way higher, and I'm not complaining about that because your boy got a nice piece of AMD yesterday. A nice piece. Look at this. This thing is pump city right now. Like I said, I picked it up yesterday. The total cost was 11K, so I was trying to put 10K into it, and it's already up to 18, so a nice return of 59%, aka 6.7K. Not bad for a one-day return. Not bad whatsoever. So AMD, I'm here for that pump. Micron, I'm in on that one as well. How's Micron doing? I bought some of those yesterday. Micron, looking good, up 37%, up 4K, an additional 1K right now. So AMD and Micron looking good. I have a couple other plays. I don't think they're doing as well. What else am I in? I am in the Qs. Those are up, break even today. And then I'm in on Apple, which is actually down. Why is Apple costing me money? What's going on with Apple? Oh, it's because it's down 1%. So that's just awesome. AMD looking good, keeping me alive. Micron looking good. Apple, not so much, but maybe it'll swing back around. Tesla, NVIDIA had a nice pop there. Google had a nice pop there. All right, so the SPY is chilling at the high from yesterday. The Qs overshot the high from yesterday. SpaceX has not started trading quite yet. Not quite yet. We are all waiting. We are all waiting.
And I think SpaceX is absolutely the poster child for it. And I think the real question is, what do the next 5 years look like? I think this is as big a transformation as when people went from farm.
Why did we lose that already? CNBC must be getting nailed with traffic today. I mean, it's the biggest IPO ever, and they just are not prepared for it. Horizontal line where the exit is. All right, let's get ready. Nice recovery thus far. Everything was swinging down. 950 hit. We get to Pop City options. We're going up to this negative gamma. We're in a little bit of a struggle right now. We're running into 7,400. We're running into this hedge wall. But if we get going, remember the negative gamma, this red zone on your chart, that is slippery price action. You have sticky price action. You have slippery price action. The red is slippery, as in if we get going, the market makers are going to support its push higher and higher and higher. So looking for it to get into this zone and then just kind of very rapidly rip through it. But it looks like we're taking a bit of a breather at the moment right here. We're kind of double topping on the SPY. We have this overshot high on the Qs. I'm trying to update the code again. But draw a line, a horizontal line where the current exit price is. Update accordingly. All right. What are we doing? What in tarnation are we doing today, folks? What in tarnation? I want to see if I could get both Quant Mother and Quant Father to be back in the green. We just need one good trade to catch. One good trade to catch, and we're going to be back exactly where we should be. Folks, if you could help me out just to get this to be a bigger, better, awesome watch pottery. If you guys could hit that like button, don't forget to subscribe. That type of engagement, liking, subscribing, talking in chat, it does tell the AI overlords that run my life that you like this type of a thing, and then it promotes it to more people, and then all of a sudden more people get in here. People are spamming price. It's just not trading yet. It's just not doing it quite yet. Just quite not yet. What time is the giveaway? I'm thinking 10:45. We are going to be doing a giveaway today. Let's call it 10:45. So in about 30 minutes, all you have to do is like, retweet, and follow. That's all you have to do. It is free for everyone. We're giving away 5 take profit accounts. Those are the future accounts I'm trading right here. We're also giving away 5 Vanquish accounts, which are options accounts you could trade. If you don't know what sim to funded trading is, basically you're trading on a simulated, aka paper account. If you do well in that environment, you get upgraded to a funded account. If you do well in that environment, you can get real payouts. So basically, you're trading with other people's money. So once again, you pass the eval, you go to funded. You trade well in funded, they pay you out. If you trade really well in funded, then they move you to a live account. If you like trading Vanquish, that's it for options. If you like trading futures, that's it for, if you like trading futures, you can check out TPT, code Goonie, Goonie, will get you a discount on both. And that's exactly why TPT and Vanquish are the sponsor of today's giveaway. So we're giving away 5 of each, but on top of that, $150 of cold hard cash. So the fastest racer in all the land will be getting the moolah. Okay, wait, I think we have an update here. I'm monitoring the situation, if you will. I'm attempting to. I'm seeing that we have some news hitting the line about this. Hang on. Is CNBC talking about it?
On their first day of trade, NVIDIA gaining
Here
about
we go.
64%, Apple, 18%. And then there's Tesla, Elon Musk's other company. It saw shares gain about 40% on its first trading day. Guys, there's a lot of betting happening. Prediction markets are already anticipating how SpaceX could open on its first day of trade. Fully market is betting on a 70% chance of the IPO opening between $150 to $200. Of course, the latest indication we have at the NASDAQ is $175, but we'll be staying close and getting you more details as they come.
Okay, thank you, Seema Modi, with the update from the NASDAQ. We do have some breaking news on Iran.
Here it is.
Eamon Jabbers has details from Washington.
A little bit of Iran news.
Sarah, we're now getting some details from a U.S. official on what is in this proposed Iran deal. Remember, we began the week with these back and forth military strikes between the United States and
Google's
Iran. Now
going,
we're seeing
Apple's finally picking up, AMD's picking up, Micron's picking up, even Tesla's catching a little bit of a bid.
But what we don't know is actually what's in it. We saw earlier this morning an Iranian media outlet releasing terms that
momentum's pushing bullish. 1 minute is now bullish. 5 minute pushing bullish. 10 minute pushing bullish. 30 minutes saved itself. 1 minute pushing bullish. 10 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute. Yeah, things are going bullish now. Remember, I'm calling this out. I'm the only one on the internet calling this out. We're going into negative gamma, which means we have a real shot of 7,500 today. A very real shot if we get caught up in this negative gamma to slip through the whole thing and rip it to 7,500, which would be about $8 higher on the SPY. If you're trading the SPY, that would put us at roughly just below 750, roughly.
Pathetic statement on having a deal bears no relation to the truth. Very dishonorable people to deal with, the president says.
This is just CNBC.
Says with them, there is no such thing as dealing.
But if there's another news source that you think's faster, let me know. I'm more than happy to switch it up.
Against Indian ships leaving the Hormuz Strait is
options flow is picking up like no other. Mag 7 is starting to catch a bid. The NASDAQ is also catching a bid.
Administration official confirming to CNBC some terms that they say are in the Iran deal. They say the nuclear
Why your bot not trading? I'm trying to update it.
Remove.
Remember, it's like
the
broken
because
I didn't do any back testing and it's making silly mistakes that are costing me money. I'm updating it right now.
Official says this is a performance-based deal. Guys, back over to you.
Okay, let's see if it materializes. Thank you, Eamon. Eamon Jabbers in Washington. We are still awaiting SpaceX's first trade, currently indicated to open in a range of $170 to $175 per share. Our next guest calls the record IPO, quote, too richly priced. Says he's not buying it. Joining us now is NYU Stern School Professor of Finance, Dean of Valuation, Aswath Damorodin. It's great to have you, Professor. So you don't like the valuation here? How are you thinking about it?
You know, this is like watching a kabuki dance. You could have
what
called
the fuck is a kabuki dance?
That's happened so far 3 months ago. The pricing, the 20% jump. I mean, I think that, I mean, this. Let's get this straight. SpaceX is an amazing company. It's an engineering marvel. And it's also the reality that they have only 20 billion revenues, lots of potential. And even if you build in the biggest possible stories, getting to 1.8 trillion takes a lot of work. So let me be very specific. Valuation is personal. You make your best judgments on a company, you decide what it's worth, and you decide whether to buy. For me, the company just looks richly priced, even with really big stories about their three businesses.
I was going to say, you're not buying into the business now, obviously, right? You're buying into the future of the Starlink business and what that could mean for telecom, the future of the launch business, what it means for space exploration, and then, of course, AI.
If you stop with just Starlink and connectivity, you're not going to get even close to $1 trillion or even $500 billion. It's AI that's carrying this company, right? I mean, and that's the reality.
All right, updated the code. We're on variant 3 already.
OpenAI, Anthropic, this whole bunch of AI companies. This is either the culmination of the AI buzz coming to market.
All the code is updated. We're running variant 3 to see if we can get back green on the day.
Iron out as to how profitable this
We're ripping it as quickly as we can,
I mean, I was making this point earlier in terms of in the S1, the addressable market, Aswath, being seen as 20, let me just get 28.5.
Let's see how the plays are going. AMD currently up 63% and climbing 7.2K. Micron up 37%, 4K.
Because we know AI is subject to hallucinations.
I'm also in on the NASDAQ. So I'm long AMD, I'm long Micron, I'm long QQQ.
I mean, it's a
And
big
I'm also
market. Why do you
long
need to
Apple.
make
That
up a
Apple's
number?
the one that's
A
down,
number
to be
so
completely
large
honest.
that it destroys your credibility.
Right
It's
here,
a big market.
I am
It could
down
be 4 trillion, 5
1.4K.
trillion, and that by
So
itself would make it one of the biggest total
green,
addressable markets
green,
out there.
red.
26 trillion
Long
collectively
on
for
all of
AI
them. I have
is
calls on all
fiction.
of them.
I don't want to get too far away from SpaceX, but since we're talking about
All right.
commoditization,
We're looking at a
on
price for the
language
SpaceX
models,
IPO
I
at
mean, we're
177
talking
currently,
about
but that is
prices
subject to an
beginning to come
extreme amount
down
of change.
vis-a-vis competition, and enterprises also trimming their use cases because they realize they don't need models that understand quantum gravity, as the journal said today.
Right.
Those two things together in a
order
capital-intensive business, how dangerous is that?
You know, the next couple of
It
years,
just
you're
took a
gonna see
loss
this business
again.
start to
Fuck,
clean
dude.
itself up as a business. You're already starting to
I
see
don't know
the
what
seeds
happened,
of it,
but
the
that was a
OpenAI
really
cutting
quick
prices,
loss.
and people complaining about how much Claude is costing them when they use it
Order
in their day-to-day
submitted.
business.
All right, it's long again.
The AI business, at least is
Order
structured for the
filled.
LLMs right now.
Loss
is two
again.
prongs.
Gee,
One
what
is
is happening,
that the
dude?
cost of delivering AI
It's
products
getting
and
so chopped
services
up.
is not zero. It's not like the old software companies. Adding a subscriber costs you nothing. This is a costly business to deliver products and services in. And the second is the competition is going to be intense. I mean, you got 4 big players, all with deep pockets, all using shareholders' money
Order
to
submitted.
fight it out.
Stop.
Are you
it is
kidding me,
going to
dude?
be a
This
big
is just,
business.
what
I'm not
is
sure
happening
how
here?
great the profitability of the business is, to be quite honest. And what we're pricing in is
It's
the
just
expected
hemorrhaging. It's just
profitability, not
taking
how big
all
the
these
business
little
is.
cuts time
Yeah,
and time
the
again.
Bulls would say though the how
I think the
fast
recent update
they
like
were able
destroyed
to
it.
stand this up, get the supply chain, get it working, and then how profitable some of these deals are with Anthropic
Hang
and
on,
Google.
let me see if I can fix
is
it.
What's impressive and might leapfrog XAI versus the competitors.
You know, the 1.3 trillion am I assigning in value takes the Bulls case and carries it to its limits, right? I mean, if you know, that's partly why I'm attaching a $1.3 trillion value to a company with 20 billion in revenues, which is losing
right,
money.
let's see if I can
this
fix
is not
it.
a small story. It's one of the biggest stories I've ever told. I just don't know how much
Not trading
give
quite
there is
yet.
in the story to get past 1.3 trillion.
Asma, thanks for joining us. Appreciate your perspective on this momentous day.
This is what
Summer,
most of
from
mainstream
NYU.
media is saying, and I
After
could
this,
give
an
you like a
exclusive
quick
with
summary. It's just that it's there's too much hype around it, and it's going to come in overpriced. And like I'm hearing the same thing time and time again, and I have to admit I kind of agree that maybe, perhaps, perchance, that there's just too much hype day one, and we're going to just see a lot of volatility. It might be bullish, it might be bearish. So the question is are you trying to trade it or are you trying to invest in it? That's what you have to ask yourself. If you're trying to trade it, good luck. Maybe you could just catch the right side of the trend and maybe this thing just goes absolutely hog wild. Awesome. If you're trying to invest in it, if you look at the history of IPOs, especially big tech IPOs, maybe, just maybe, history suggests waiting a little bit to get into the investment because generally there's just so much hype when it goes from the private to the public market that you're simply paying too much. So I want to be very clear on my stance. I think doing an investment today, I don't think it's going to be bad in the future. I think you're going to end up being net profitable, but I think there's a better investment opportunity if you wait a little bit. Now, once again, that's for investing. Investing and trading are two completely different things. I know a lot of the times people conflate them because trading and investing both happen in the stock market, obviously. But I just want to make it very, very clear of my thoughts here. I think this is an excellent trade out of the gate. You could be bullish, you could be bearish. Respect your risk, respect your sizing, have fun. I wish you the best of luck. It's a bit degenerate, but once again, I'm not going to stop you from being degenerate. I wish you the best of luck. As an investment, I love SpaceX as an investment. I want to be very, very clear here. I just don't necessarily like it.
Order submitted.
It went short? Well, this one deserves to
Order
lose.
filled.
Yeah, what the fuck was that? Dude, this strategy. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense what it's doing. Something is broken here. Something does not make sense. Why would it do that?
Order submitted.
What's it doing now? It's long. Okay, finally took a trade that I agree with. Finally took a trade that I agree with. And if it takes out this recent high of 60, oh my God, dude, this is just hemorrhaging. This is disastrous. Your strat is trading like a DJ. I'm starting to think that it's not a little tweak. Like, I think there's something like inherent, like a bug that I'm just not thinking of in this code. And like, you could even see it. Like, one of them is spazzing out while the other one's fine. Like, the other one's doing kind of what it was like expected to do. This is just so dramatic. What does it do? I'm trying to think. There has to be a bug somewhere that I just like can't think of. There has to be a little bug somewhere. A little bug somewhere. What is that bug? I think it's going to go short here, and I hate that trade. Dude, this is just hemorrhaging. Well, we're going to find out. We're waiting on SpaceX. I see the questions are coming in chat. Just so you guys know, the specific time is not announced. We know today that it's going to be trading. If you're using recent IPOs of like, okay, when is it going to get going? The recent IPOs suggest sometime midday. My prediction is that it's going to go absolutely crazy and skyrocket at first, and then I think it's going to either sell off in the later portion of today or maybe in a day or two. And like I said, I like it. I'm going to be buying a share just to get involved. I do support this company. I think it has a tremendous amount of potential. I just think it's going to be very, very overvalued at first. So I'm waiting for a reasonable dip, and then that's where I want to do my actual investment. So and obviously do what you want. Like, I'm not your mom. I'm not in control of your money. If you're like, no, Matt, I got to buy it on day one because it's going to rip from here. Dude, I wish you luck. Like, hey, maybe I'll never have the opportunity to invest. Maybe it'll never dip. So that's possible. Maybe. I don't know. So whatever you choose to do, I wish you the best of luck. But I'm doing well losing my money right now. It is tight in absolute terms. Hang on. Yeah, it actually. So the one thing that I'm noticing is that it feels like the stops are super tight, but based on the data I'm looking at right now on the NASDAQ, that's what it suggests. It does suggest. What are the EMA filter checks for both strats? Something seems off here. Something seems off. Oh. Should we be checking the larger time frame against each other, such as all right. I'm trying to come up with when will we announce the time to opening trade? That's just not how it works. They don't announce it like that. I wish they did. It would make life a lot simpler. Dude, do I just want to override it and punt this long and see what the fuck happens? That's like kind of my vibe right now. Is like I'm wondering if this is just like save the accounts, punt it long, and just pray for the best. NASDAQ is actually, it got hit. It's picking up. Mag 7 starting to look up. SPY is also picking up. We're right at, ooh, okay. We do have a little bit of distance here. What's happening? We dip, we pull up, higher lows. We're maybe putting in a lower high right here.
Order submitted.
What's it doing? Okay, it went long. That's not the craziest thing here. I was about to go long. That's not the craziest trade we've seen it take quite yet. It's now, I updated the code to try to do trend following. If it takes out this recent high at 66, it should trigger a trend following methodology. So right now it's taking on 290 points of risk. Hopefully that doesn't get hit. More importantly, hopefully it pops above 66 so it actually gets in the money and can start to trend follow. And hopefully there's a big pop from here to make back the catastrophic loss that this system has already kind of had. Now, if you're wondering, Matt, you're talking about the system and a catastrophic loss, what's going on? Well, I'd like to point the fact that, look at me. Folks, take 1 second of your time, look at your camera. I'm wearing an astronaut outfit on the day of a SpaceX IPO. Do you think that I back tested this? Do you think that I really put this through some like statistical gauntlet to make sure what I'm doing was smart? No, I had an idea and I let it rip, and apparently that idea was a stupid idea. So like, if you're thinking that dude, is this going to get knocked out? It's getting absurdly close to look at that, a tick away. All right, if this trade makes money after not getting knocked out by a tick, 1 tick, I'm going to somehow make it work. I will forever love this strategy. To this point, I've hated this strategy. If I somehow make money that close to getting wicked out, if this then somehow rips in my favor, I will forever love this strategy and I will figure out a way to make it work. That's my promise to the universe. I will figure this one out if this one trade somehow ends up being a ripper. But up until this point, it just sucks and it's a huge pain in the ass. Get away from me.
Order filled.
Hey, I made a promise. It didn't hold up its end of the bargain. Opening price is $269. Yeah, you're just making that up.
Order submitted.
Where? Oh, okay. Quant Mother, the one that actually knows how to do shit, is doing shit. So it looks like it's going for, I believe it's 1-to-1, so it's going for an $870 target here. Quant Mother is seemingly way better. Way better. Let's see if it actually works, though. So both are to keep their current gates. No already on the right side of this one.
Order submitted.
What's happening there? Bro, I have no fucking clue anymore what's going on. That went
order filled.
That's got knocked out again. This strategy fucking blows, dude. This one rocks. Like, we're getting right back where we need to be. Quick question. I guess it's not 1-to-1. This one's running. Where is the exit? This one, we caught a runner here. Whoa. Stop to break even. Freebie trade. Whoa, 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 whoa. We caught something here. We finally did something right. All right, so Quant Mother is way better than Quant Father. There's no exit. Well, because it's trend following. So it's going to get out on a certain measured dip. But it already protected itself, so at least it's not going to lose money. That stops at break even. But it's a trend following strategy. So if it does trend, it's going to keep going. But I mean, these strategies are just slightly different from each other. And one strategy is up 1.5K while the other one's down 3.3. So just like massively different. Massively, massively different here. I'm almost wondering, do I need to disable this? Because these ones are on the rope here. I don't know what to do. Like, do I just need to do a quick enable, disable quant father? It's the bottom one that sucks, man. It might be going long here. 540.
Order submitted.
All right. It is. This is the bad one. The bad one's trading again. Let's see if it can actually make money. Let's see if it can do something right with its godforsaken life. I mean, it's so incredibly bad. I almost want to invert it here. It's literally so incredibly bad. I feel like I should be inverting it. I mean, that's like it lost money in such a oh, it went break even. Okay, so at least we're not losing money on this one. You know, at least we finally did something right here. SPCE will hit $10. Virgin Galactic is what you're talking about? All right, so both are long.
Order filled.
Okay. You know what? That's an
order submitted.
That is at least an improvement. It went from losing money to a break-even trade. And at this point in the day, with how much these accounts are down, I'm going to take what I can get. I'm happily going to take what I can get. You know, we're making subtle improvements. S&P 500 pop, pulled back flat, looking strong now. Mag 7 pulled back flat, maybe tilting up a little bit. The NASDAQ popped, pulled back flat, now tilting up once again. So options flow, not the most bullish we've ever seen, but more bullish than bearish. I still need to remind you of this. I guarantee you I'm the only one on all the internet talking about this today. There's a giant pocket of negative gamma above. If this is your first time in the world of option trading or active trading, or maybe you just need a quick refresher on what this is, remember, gamma is one of those fancy schmancy Greek values. You've probably heard of delta, theta, gamma as it comes to the world of options trading. What you need to know, and there's many important things to take away from gamma, but let me just give you a very quick TLDR for one specific aspect. Excuse me. When you have negative gamma, those are price regions that it's very easy for price to push through. When you have positive gamma, the purple, that's where it's more sticky and it's tough for price to move through. So think of it as sticky price action and slippery price action. If we can get into this, I'm looking for that follow through of the negative gamma. I'm looking for that potential push all the way up to maybe 7,500 today on SPX. We're currently trading at 74.16. So if you're trading SPY instead of SPX, that's about an $8 equivalent. So that would put us at roughly 749 on the
order
day.
Filled.
What happened? Well, surprise, surprise, Quant Father lost again. Surprise, surprise, Quant Father lost again while Quant Mother is still in the trade and green on the trade and not risking anything. Dude, what is going on? These accounts are just like hemorrhaging. Gamma only for stocks. Well, gamma comes from the world of options. So you can get gamma readings on things like IBIT, which then would be applied to Bitcoin. But it's a mathematical, I guess, measure from the world of current live options position. So that's where the data is coming from, is the live open interest. So you need the built out options market. So wherever, if there's an options market for
order
it, yeah.
Filled.
All right. So that one at least protected itself on this potential breakdown as we are dipping to VWAP, the volume weighted average price. Is this real money? That's an interesting question. It's like half real money because like if you trade well, you can then request payouts. So like it costs me money to get these accounts, but remember, this is how prop trading works: is you take an eval on paper trading, not real. If you do well, you then go to funded. If you do well there, you can get real payouts. So it's a fee to you to trade these paper accounts. And then if you do well, you can get payouts. And if you don't do well, you blow out the account. Well, you just lost the cost of you getting involved with it. So I guess to answer your question, kind of yes, kind of no. Like if I blow these out, it costs me the fee for the eval, but it's not my own fully funded account, if that makes sense. So if I do poorly, it does cost me money. If I do well, I can get payouts, but it's not as you would think of your like traditionally. Dude, I'm so tempted. I'm so tempted to turn off Quant Father. It's just been like every single trade is just hemorrhaging money here. Every single trade is just hemorrhaging money. So it's fake. No, not really. If it was fake, it wouldn't be any risk or any reward. There's still like a risk reward paradigm to this. And if you ask me, as a person who does a lot of bot trading and a lot of statistical analysis, it's a great way to test stuff, in my opinion. It's a good way to like see is something working because it gives you live market data. It gives you a little bit of skin in the game without the risk of your own fully funded account. So if you're newer to your trading career and you're like, okay, like I'm working on my trading, I'm working on this system. Well, it's a great way to put a little bit of risk in there to get the live data, to see what it's like, to get it in real time. And then on the flip side of it, if you do well, you can get actual real money payouts. And then if you don't do well, you're not blowing out your own fully funded account. This is a simulated trade. So it's real market data, but your trades aren't hitting the actual market. You're not hitting the bid or the ask. So once again, it's the perfect in between paper trading where you have no risk reward and then your own fully funded account where it's maximum risk, maximum reward. It's that in between where you have some risk and some reward. So it's like a good transitional thing. So for me, it's ideal when I'm testing out strategies to see, okay, like what do I like? What do I not like? Because once again, is there risk? Yeah, I have to pay for the evals. Is the reward? Yeah, if I do well, I get actual payouts. And if you're thinking, well, how big could the payouts like actually get? They can get quite large. Like right now, I'm waiting for a $1 million payout from one of these firms called Apex. So yeah, like the payouts can be huge. Like yes, $1 million payout. And if you're new, like between October and February, I streamed the entire thing. So you can like kind of get a vibe for it from the old streams, but I was just day trading in the NASDAQ and I did it across 15 accounts and I traded well enough on those 15 accounts. I was copy trading every single one and I ran it up to $1 million and I'm currently waiting for that $1 million payout. So it's kind of like the new hot thing in the world of retail trading. And it makes sense for a lot of people who you're like, yo, I don't have 10K, I don't have 20K, I don't have 50K to fund my own trading account, but I want to learn about trading. This is that perfect in between where you could spend something like $100 and get a $50,000 account and go from there. So yeah, like it's just the risk reward of it is more reasonable for people to get started. So once again, it's that nice in between of paper trading and then also taking on the full risk of your fully funded account. It's like right in the middle where you have some risk and you have some reward. That's how prop trading makes money. Fake paper trading under bogus tight rules. Well, they make it from people trading poorly. They make their money when people are not good at trading. But once again, would you rather fail an account for $100 or would you rather fund your own account for 10 grand and lose all 10 grand? So if you're working on a system or your trading methodology, obviously to extend your runway, you're going to have a better chance the less you spend because then you could try different trading strategies. Are there fees per trade? There's commissions, like there's simulated commissions. If you're curious, it's all in the description of the video. This one's called Take Profit Trader and code Goonie will get you a 40% discount. Like I said, it's all in the description of the video. Take Profit Trader is a really good one. Get 40% off for life and no activation fee. The activation fee goes when you're going from eval to funded. And obviously, if you use code Goonie, there's going to be none of it. But like I said, it's a good way for you to test out like what's going on with your trading strategy. Do you like it? Do you not like it? That type of a thing. It's better to risk $90 than to whatever you would fund your own account with. This is for futures trading. Vanquish is for options trading. So if you're working on your option trading career, obviously a similar sentiment. Like, you can get going for a lot less money to see if what you're doing is even net profitable before you put your own funds behind it. But I want to be very, very clear. You don't want to live in the world of sim to funded. It's an upgrade from the world of complete paper trading as you're figuring it out. But as soon as you figure it out and you're happy with what's going on, that's when you go to your own fully funded account. So in my mind, the perfect model is this, is like you initially test your trading strategy on a completely fake simulated paper account. When you're happy with it and you're like, okay, I think it's showing some signs of success, that's when you upgrade to something like Take Profit Trader and you go sim to funded, where you pay for the eval and then you're trading your strategy. If it does well, that's when you finally, okay, awesome, upgrade it to funded. And ideally, in the funded environment, it trades well enough that you can get actual payouts. The strategy proves itself to you and you to it that you can trade it. And then from there, you take your payouts to fund your own trading account. So I look at it as like a stepping stone, specifically step number 2 in the overall trading process. Like, that's how I kind of like see this whole thing. Did Apex pay you that $1 million yet? No, I'm still pending the payout because I guess they want to hold on to their $1 million for now. So waiting for that. But even this, gotten payouts from TPT, from MFF. There's a lot of firms that do this. Going to talk about the market. We've been talking about the market this entire time. We're literally actively talking about trading. I know many of you are here for the SpaceX IPO, and we are actively waiting on that. You know what we're going to do is at 11 a.m. flat, we're going to give away some of these prop accounts for free. So we're going to give away 5 from Take Profit, 5 from Vanquish. Take Profit is for futures trading. Vanquish is for options trading. And then we're going to give away $150 of cold hard cash as well. So we're going to be giving away all of that today. It is free for everyone to get involved. All you have to do is like, retweet, and follow. Pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. That's all you have to do is like, retweet, and follow. Prop firms take a percentage from what you make. Yeah, but they put up all the risk. What are you not understanding? It's a game of risk reward. If you want to take on maximum risk, go fund your own account. But if you want to take on minimal risk, you would use a prop firm. And if you're really good at it, you could just use both. You could fund your own account and also have prop firms and then get even more exposure to the market. You're screaming in caps as if you've realized something that the rest of the trading world hasn't. But this has been like kind of discussed and debunked many, many, many years ago. And the point is like, there's no gun to your head. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. Like, it's honestly that obvious. But if you're good at trading, you would want as much exposure as you can possibly get, because the more exposure you have as a net profitable trader, the more money you would make. If you have a net profitable trading strategy and you're trading it on 10K, returning, let's say 10%, okay, that's awesome. But if someone else for a small fee would offer you the exposure up to 100K or $1 million, and you can make that same 10%, it's just more money. What's the max leverage on Take Profit? 5 accounts at 150K, so 1.5 million. So basically, they'll give you $1.5 million worth of leverage for $1,000, or maybe a little bit more, maybe like 1.2K. But once again, that matters to you if you are a net profitable trader. If you are making money, you can make a lot of money. If you're not making money, it's just a faster way to lose money. That's what leverage is. That's how it works, folks. How are you doing today? Not so hot, dude. My strategies are getting their fucking teeth kicked in. Absolute teeth decimated. Do they have an estimate of when the SpaceX will be live? Midday. The really crappy strategy is going to go short again at 450 here. Dude, I don't know. I'm about to invert it because it's doing that poorly. What are the bells? Just breakouts, important breakouts, important breakdowns. Right here, the 5-minute and the 10-minute just crossed over. See how we had a failed breakout? The 5-minute was weak, came up, tried to break out, couldn't get going. 10-minute was weak, popped up, tried to break out, couldn't get going. And now even the 30-minute is retesting its breakdown. Looking at the NASDAQ, 5 minutes, see right here, popped, couldn't get going, broke down. 10-minute popped, couldn't get going, broke down, and the 30-minute just wicked off of it. So the alert, it's just like important changes in price, I suppose, is the best way to explain it. Options flow is starting to dip. So we started off week, had a huge pop up until about 10:17, and ever since then, we are just bleeding down, down, and down. Looking at the Mag 7, the combination of Apple, Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft, NVIDIA, and Tesla, just kind of down all day. And looking at the NASDAQ, we popped, we went flat, and now down all day. It's expected at 12. Yeah, I mean, that's just one of many comments of people in here saying, oh, it's expected then, it's expected then. No one knows. That's just not how it works. Trump denies Iran account of deal terms, decries new drone attack, dishonorable people. Well, that's probably part of the reason why the market's dropping right now is because we thought we had an Iran deal ready to go, but here we are. They were supposed to bring on the president of SpaceX pretty soon here. I want to listen to that, because that could be an interesting chit chat. Brother, oh brother, oh brother.
On the 18.5 billion, though, I think it's important. You know, some of the
right
announcements
now,
that the company's made.
the expected
with
price is
Anthropic, with
169
Google,
currently.
potential cursor acquisition, Starlink growth. I think it's
order filled.
It just lost again.
Order
Again,
Q4 of this
dude,
year
how
is
much
gonna
could this
have
Order
keep?
submitted.
Did something
more
just get
revenue
announced?
Than say
Order
Q1,
filled.
which was the last quarter in the S1. And so I think it's like, yes, Q1 was, you know, that run rate, but I think what we know even for Q4 of this year is just
Something's going on.
almost 200% year-over-year growth. And so I think you have to balance last quarter
Something's
from
going
what we
on,
have
folks.
very high
Something got
confidence in the
announced.
near term.
Market's going a little bit nutty.
Sean, can you
just
talk
wanted to
about
punt
the
it
evolution
long.
of the investment thesis from the initial investment? Was it much different than today? Were there flywheels that kind of erupted between then and now? And what does that possibly
We're putting
mean for,
down
the coming
Quant
years?
Father. It's just costing too much money.
So the
We're gonna
initial
let
thesis
Quant Mother
was,
keep running.
Obviously, Elon is a generational entrepreneur.
Yeah, Quant Father needs to go to the store for milk and smokes. Yeah, we're sending Quant Father
how exceptional he was.
out
But
back.
What was happening in
We're
2019 is
gonna run
Starlink
something else.
started to become predictable. You know, Starlink revenue didn't start until Q4
That was a pop.
2020.
Look at that
But
pop
in late
out of nowhere.
2019, so a year before, I think it was very predictable that Starlink will work and it will produce a massive amount of revenue. And so we called that right. I think now we're in a very similar point, you know, to where Starlink was in 2019 with all the AI infrastructure. And I would even say this includes orbital compute. I think that, you know, Elon in the interview 3 days ago said he thinks that Starlink satellites are more complicated than orbital compute satellites. He knows way better than I do, but I agree with him. And so the only limiting factor is Starship. And I think people are really underestimating like how far along the orbital compute
Look at
product
that
is right now.
pop. That's crazy.
Yeah. On that note, Sean, Sequoia is in Anthropic. It's in OpenAI. It's obviously in SpaceX. Where do you see XAI in the AI race and revolution right now?
Yeah. XAI obviously was a later entrant. I think that, you know, if you look at the derivative of progress, though, it's unbelievable. It's not quite at the leading edge right now, but it's not far behind. And XAI has, which is now SpaceX
I just feel like no one really uses Grok
you know,
the way
has
they use Claude or
terrestrial compute
OpenAI.
advantage.
And maybe one day it'll be better
will be,
adopted,
as
but I
just
feel
said,
like in the
believe orbital
current
compute's coming
AI
online soon.
space,
You know, has
it's
an
just
incredible
not
team, especially
used
with
to the same level.
The cursor opportunity, seeing much faster progress on the model side. And so, look, I think it's too early to call what's going to happen with confidence for XAI on the model side. But I have extreme confidence that they're, one, underappreciated right now, and two, going to do incredibly well on the hardware side, you know, and compute side.
$22.7 trillion is what they see as the total addressable market for enterprise applications. You really think that that's a number that makes any sense?
What do you think is the total addressable market for intelligence? What's the total addressable market for, you know, for all compute infrastructure 50
What a
years from now?
pop. Look at the
like-
NASDAQ.
like,
it just
yes,
went nuts.
I agree with the TAM
S&P
analysis, and I
500
know it
went
sounds
nuts.
crazy, but we're entering a new era where, you know, I think the closest analogies in the history are the invention of the railroad, where you're able to
Wow.
open up,
It's just
you know,
ripping
Western
now.
United States and, you know, build cities in places that were inaccessible. Or prior to that, you know, this sailboat leading to, you know, massive explosion of trade. Like, we're entering this new era where Starship,
I wish Quant Mother
Starship is the
grabbed that
railroad
one.
to space. People are underappreciating how much infrastructure is going to be built in space, how much easier to access energy it is in space, and that we're at the beginning of this AI era where, you know, we're going to double or triple the total amount of intelligence that we have access to over the next 1 or 2 decades. And so like, yes, I absolutely believe
This
in the
is
TAM. I
Sean
would even argue
from
it's an
Sequoia,
underestimate.
a VC firm.
Okay.
I'm looking for any.
Sean,
I'm
very,
attempting to find any
very much
breaking news
appreciate your
on to
taking
see if we
time
can
with us.
find the
Thank
time
you.
of when this is going to get going.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for the coverage today.
That was good. Market here, session highs as the Iranian foreign minister tweets that the memorandum of understanding has
1 minute
quote, never
popped,
been closer.
5 minutes.
We'll
So
watch
this
that.
was a dip because of
SpaceX, not the
Iran
only
news,
space
just to
stock
get bought
attracting
back
attention this
up.
morning. Let's get to
That's
Oliver Rennick at
crazy.
SIBO in Chicago. Hey,
Who's
Oliver.
this guy?
Good morning, Carl. Traders the past week were piling into SpaceX
Tesla
proxies,
even
but this
catching a
morning,
bid.
those stocks are getting dumped as the real deal arrives. EchoStar is down 8%, AST Space Mobile 11%, and Virgin Galactic is undoing all of
AMD
yesterday's
popping,
25%
Micron
rally.
catching a
Options
bid,
traders look
even
unfazed,
Tesla,
though, with calls
Apple, a
outpacing
little bit
puts
of
in all
life.
three this
Nvidia's
morning.
going.
ASTS is
Google.
emerging as the most popular with options traders now, with
ASTS?
140,000 contracts traded for $60 million
Yeah,
in
not
premium
doing well
and
though.
twice as
Down
many calls bought
10%.
as puts. Clearly, traders can't wait to trade options in SpaceX, but they can already get a head start if they're on the blockchain-based exchange Hyperliquid, where perpetual futures contracts on SpaceX are trading around $174. That's price
Yeah.
transparency you won't find peeling through options chains, guys. Back to you.
Oliver, thanks so much. Oliver Rennick in Chicago. After this, the largest investor in SpaceX, other than Musk himself, Valor Equity Partners Antonio Gracias, owning around 7% of the company. That's pre-IPO. Squawk on the Street's back in just a minute.
In just a minute. In just a minute. All right. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. Did I turn that strategy off? We had to kill it. Okay. Yeah. So only Quant Mother's on right now. Let's actually get rid of this. Trash. Trash, trash, trash. Ugh. Spit it out. Horrible. I wonder why that like went so bad. Like that was really, really freaking bad. I'm not going to buy this here, but we're just like that back to the intraday highs. All right, as we're waiting for their next guest to come on, we had to put Quant Father down, and we're going to be restarting. We're going to do this giveaway. Let's do a giveaway. As we're waiting for SpaceX to get going, let's celebrate a little bit of a payday Friday, celebrate a little bit of SpaceX. This is free for everyone. I'm going to give you guys 60 seconds. All you have to do is like, retweet, and follow, and then you're in the giveaway. We're going to be doing a marble race. If you are selected, 5 of you are going to get a TPT account, 5 of you are going to get a Vanquish account, and then the winner of the race is going to get $150 of cold hard cash. It's a free giveaway. Just a little bit of a thing to, I guess, have... I don't know, a little bit of fun. Why not? All you have to do is like, retweet, and follow. Pin to the top of chat in the description of the video. But hang on, in real time, we are popping. Look at that pop. So SPY going from 735 to 742. I'm the only one, I'm telling you, I'm calling out this negative gamma. Very real shot of 7,500 today as we rip through this negative gamma. And remember, gamma, like theta, picks up exponentially into close. So the impact of this negative gamma is going to get more and more felt the closer and closer we get to 4 p.m., just so everyone knows. But I think this is a real shot. 7,500. Tesla's showing some life. AMD would like for that to get going. I would like for Micron to pop. What else is moving today? Nvidia showing life. Google showing life. What's the daily look like on Google? Google is showing life for sure. Microsoft, not so much life. Meta, not so much life. ASML near the all-time high. TSM is showing life as well. TSM is showing life as well. Do I have free capital in my account? I want to look at the TSM chain.
There are always problems on Earth. There are always problems on Earth. There are always things that we wish to be better, that we want to solve here on Earth, and we should solve them. But there also have to be things that get you excited about the future, that make you glad to wake up in the morning, because you can't wait to see what happens next. And that's the future that SpaceX wants to bring to you.
Good Friday morning again. Welcome to Squawk on the Street. Very special edition here. I'm Sarah Eisen with Carl Quintanilla, live from Post 9 of the New York Stock Exchange. A historic day for the stock market, for the country, as SpaceX goes public in the largest IPO of all time.
Record-breaking.
Joining us today is Valor Equity Partners founder and SpaceX board member, Antonio Gracias. He is the second largest shareholder after Elon Musk, with a nearly 7% stake pre-IPO.
CIO of Atreides Management, Gavin Baker's with us as well. First backed the company in 2015 while at Fidelity, and his SpaceX stake at Atreides makes up about 20% of the total fund.
Plus, as Elon Musk vows to take data centers and space and humans to Mars and beyond, we'll discuss the real feasibility of his goals with NASA's former CTO, Chris Kemp.
As for market, session highs are awfully close to it. Dow's up about 1% as a few moments ago, the Iranian foreign minister tweets that a memorandum of understanding has, quote, never been closer. That comes after several hours of back and forth and disputing what the terms are for an agreement that would get these two sides to the table. Begin to open up the Strait of Hormuz and discuss longer
drama
issues.
Always
Our
a bit
team,
of
though,
drama.
bringing all the latest on this historic IPO today. Leslie Picker at Morgan Stanley's trading floor in New York City will bring us the latest indications as they come in. Seema Modi at the NASDAQ, where SpaceX is listing, and Robert Frank on Musk Trillionaire Watch. Let's begin with Seema.
Musk Trillionaire Watch.
Hey, Seema.
Hey, Carl, yes, a big day for SpaceX, but it's also an important moment for the NASDAQ, which clinched this high-profile deal. The man behind it, president of NASDAQ, Nelson, grateful for this time, Nelson, and congratulations.
Oh, thanks, Seema.
All right, so NASDAQ is the listing exchange, so they're going to get basically the benefit of all the auctions every single day.
I think NASDAQ takes what we call a NASDAQ One approach. So the whole company gets behind a discussion with a company like this and how we actually become a partner to them. I think if you look at NASDAQ, we list the trillion-dollar companies. We have the deepest, most liquid markets in the world, and then we wrap around an amazing partnership. You see the excitement here at NASDAQ. We had an opening bell here in New York and in Texas with Elon making some incredible remarks. And then throughout the day, we just have...
What do the indications tell you right now, and how
Dude,
far we are?
it's so choppy
so
with
if you
them
look
today.
at an offering size, they typically like to find the stabilization agent likes to find about 10% of shares for the opening price. So if you price 500
All right, we're still kind of in
shares,
this negative
that's
gamma.
about 55 million shares. Right now, we're seeing about 29 million. The indicative price is around 162, 165. That's been very stable for a while now. So they still want to get the order flow. So once the stock does open up, there's enough support for it to maintain a price. Obviously, we expect some volatility. But right now, we're moving away through the process and probably a few more
Some
hours.
volatility,
Because
brother.
it's a $1.7 trillion potential market cap. What kind of stress test did you put in place to ensure today is orderly and that that trade is smooth?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's a whole ecosystem that's behind that. So we test all the time at NASDAQ. Every weekend, the street can test with our systems. But for this, we obviously do a bit more coordination. We've done a lot of modeling with the different participants. Today, obviously, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley are the lead
right at
underwriters.
the
Morgan
IB
Stanley is the
high,
stabilization
initial
agent.
balance
So there's
high,
a lot of work in
the
communication.
opening
So
hour high,
We're built
basically.
on amazing technology and resilience. We have the most transparent system in the world with a lot of data. We provide them to make sure they have the information
Order
they need on their
filled.
shareholders. And there's the people you're seeing behind us upstairs. We're making sure that the systems are working as they should and talking to the participants.
Certainly a team effort. There was a fast rule that allows companies like SpaceX to be included into the NASDAQ
Order
100.
submitted.
Is the ballpark 15 days? Will SpaceX be in the NASDAQ 100 by early July?
Yeah, so if it takes it back to our value proposition, it is this idea. NASDAQ lists the home of the most innovative companies in the world. We have a lot of services we provide companies to help them understand their shareholder base. And then obviously the index is another additional advantage to being on NASDAQ. And at this point,
that's
yes,
a
they would be in the
400
index within
range.
15
Jesus.
days. And at that point, they're part of the NASDAQ 100, which is meant to represent the largest 100 non-financial companies in the world by market cap. So it's natural that they'll be in.
This moment, how would you describe it, especially with two other big IPOs in the offerings, Anthropic and OpenAI?
Yeah, it actually has been a very good year already for IPOs. It was a building in 2025. We're seeing good deals this year. This is obviously a historic offering. And then we do expect actually a very strong July. We'll take a bit of a pause in August. And the fall, it's probably in my last 10 years, the most diverse pipeline of IPOs we've seen. Anywhere from mid caps to large caps and obviously to mega
Looking
caps.
at this negative
so we'll stay
gamma.
close as we wait for that opening trade. Latest indication, as you pointed out, 162. Carl, Sarah, I'll send it back to you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, Seema Modi from the NASDAQ. SpaceX currently indicated to open at
Higher,
162, soaring above the price where it priced 135. Our next guest is a longtime backer, personal friend as well as Elon Musk.
Is this?
He made his first bet on SpaceX in 2006. And is currently now the second biggest.
Yeah, the current price is
shareholder
167,
after Musk himself.
but
Joining
it's
us now
not
for CNBC exclusive,
live yet.
Founder and CEO of Valor Equity Partners, SpaceX board member as well, Antonio Gracias. David Faber's back with us as well for the conversation. Antonio, we're thrilled to have you today. I mean, I just want to start by asking what this moment means for you as someone who's basically been there since the beginning.
It's truly extraordinary, Sarah. Thank you.
Who is this guy? He's the largest equity owner beyond
it's amazing
Elon.
to be here, sit with the team, and see the extraordinary energy of all the people who worked so hard for so many years to make this happen. It's a tremendous milestone, and I'm feeling a lot of gratitude.
Well, I guess one question people will be wondering is what you'll do with your nearly 7% stake, which is set to be worth at least $70 billion. Here,
Is it not locked up?
Well, most of that's owned by the firm's clients. So we'll, in time, as fiduciaries need to. I plan personally on holding my stake as long as I possibly can.
What is your vision
a
for
non-answer.
SpaceX, and how different is it than when you first got in, more than 20 years ago?
I mean, look, this is, think about it as some combination of owning the British East India Company as we colonize both the solar system and then on
Maybe
beyond,
not the best analogy.
and, the moon mission. I mean, think of all
Just
great
calling that
technology
out.
developed
Maybe
in the
not
moon
the-
mission, right?
the
Yourself one as an
best.
example. I think it's one of the most consequential companies in human history, and we're going to see how it all plays out. I'm very curious.
Yeah, I mean, what has to sort of go right? Because for investors, there are a lot of different businesses here, from Starlink to Launch in Space, as you said, to the AI company, which some are most enthusiastic about. How do they all work together?
Look, we have 20,000 people here. They're some of the best engineers in the world. And what we're building is building the entire stack from energy to compute to launch to orbital compute. So think about this as one integrated system to really move us up the Cartesian scale, as Elon says, so we can expand civilization and survive multiplanetary as well as build artificial intelligence. So it's really building the future. Think about this. What investors are buying today, we've been buying for really 20 years, is the ability to help make the future, is being part of this extraordinary company.
Antonio, you're going to be, you are a board member now of one of the largest public companies in the world. I'm just curious as to how you see your responsibility, whether it changes at all, obviously, given your long history with Mr. Musk as well.
Look, we're fiduciaries and shareholders, and I think the shows will be very pleased. This company's going to create value over a long period of time, exceptionally well. So, yeah, I think about it as being a good steward of
Who is
capital,
this
as I do
guy?
for my funds and I've done for other public company boards I've sat on.
I'm looking for
As somebody who's also been
7,500
an
today.
investor
Looking
in
for this
Tesla,
negative gamma.
and I know Elon has given voice to this in some ways. Do you believe there's a union that makes sense between SpaceX and Tesla at some point in the future?
This is way above my pay grade. I wouldn't want to comment on that. That's really for the management team here to think about and for us to think about in the future.
All right. Well, speaking of the future, we've been talking a lot this morning about SpaceX's future in terms of the total addressable market that it sees, some $28.5 trillion. Most of that made up by $22.7 trillion in the total addressable market for enterprise
All right,
applications.
this is actually
for
probably more
AI.
useful of the exact mechanism of how IPOs work. Many are asking why is SpaceX not trading yet. Here's exactly how the IPO process works and when the shares will be available to trade. The IPO was quoted at 9:50, 20 minutes into the trading day, and expected to begin trading at 10 a.m., but that does not guarantee shares will trade at the time. So that's where people were citing 10 a.m. That's where they're getting it from. Before trading begins, the Nasdaq must complete a price discovery auction where they buy and sell orders are collected and matched. That's what Nasdaq is right now doing with Morgan Stanley. At 9:50, first indicators came out that are essentially a gauge of where the stock will open. The first indication on SpaceX came in at $175 a share, or 30% premium on the $135 IPO price. That's exactly what we're seeing at Hyperliquid currently right now, $166. During this process, orders are entered, but no trades occur yet. Nasdaq continuously updates the indicative opening price. The opening price is adjusted until supply and demand are balanced. Only then does the opening process auction occur and the first trade print. So this is why, like, I know many of you are asking for the time. That's why it's not a set time, because it's like really just a bunch of order matching at this moment in time. For major IPOs, delays are common, such as Google in 2004 and Meta in 2012. We saw the first trade over 2 hours after the market opened. We expect SpaceX IPO to open trading within the next 60 minutes. Buckle up for a historic day. That was at 10:20, so we're looking at 11:20 potentially. But right now, it's just a process to match these orders. That's being done in the Nasdaq in conjunction with Morgan Stanley, which means that we probably should get going with this giveaway. So if you want to do it, this is your last second. All you have to do is like, retweet, and follow. Pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video, but we're going to get rocking with that right now. So we're going to kick off the process in the Discord, then we're going to go over to Twitter. So if you are in the Goonie Trading Discord, you better listen up, because I'm going to be dropping it right now. Right now, everyone. Giveaway time. Okay, cool. / giveaway duration 2 mins, winners 7, and then the prize racer. Okay. So if you're in the Discord, the process has already started right here. All you have to do is hit enter giveaway and you're in. So that's already started. And then while we're waiting for that to play out, let's do the selection from Twitter. Let's see how many of you actually figured out what you should be doing. And the answer to that is over 200 of you. Great. Awesome. So 200 of you, Twitter picker. All right, let's do this one. It's a bit better. All right. All you had to do is like and retweet. We're going to get 3 of you at Matt_Kohrs as per the rules. You don't have to have an image. You don't have to have a banner. Tweet count, you don't have to have a tweet. 1 month is a minimum. Latest tweet any. Minimum followers 0. So basically it's open to everyone. So 3 of our competitors, let's get going right now. We're going. We're picking. Congrats to Tasty Toast. Interesting name. Looks like we have an OSRS player. Chris, congrats to you. And Pavel. Congrats. So those are 3 of our competitors, and you guys have already now won something. So once again, congrats to you. You've already won a prop account, but we have more prop accounts and more cash to be given away. So hold on tight. All right. So we picked those guys. I'm going to save all of this. Let's save all of these. We're going to save all of these. I don't want to lose anything here. We don't quite need all these tabs open. All right. This is going to start trading at any second. My trade is going well. I'm up $1,000 on each of those. Do I want to go break even? Maybe. I don't know. I kind of like the target of 840. Call me crazy, but I kind of like the target of 840.
Order submitted.
I kind of like that target. I'm going to be honest with all of you folks. I kind of really like 840 as a target. So anyway, we're going to let that cook. Oh, we just got all the winners from here in Discord. All right. Let me take a quick screenshot of that. And now we have time for the real competition. Why is that name kind of hidden. Congrats to Standing Red, the Big Dog, Tesla, Mr. Boulay, NT, Pete, and Ricky. All right, let me minimize that for now, and let's get this game going. Let's get this game going. Games. Let's see who the fastest marble racer is in all the land, and then we're going to return to the stream. We're going to return to SpaceX. We're going to return to the IPO. We're going to return to all of that. We're just having a little bit of fun in the in-between, because why not? You know? Why not? Why not? Why not? Why not? Come on. We don't need this. We don't need that. All right. So we're racing. The map we're going to be racing on is Rusty Remnants. All right. Let's get our players. Let's clear. We have 10 of you. 9, 10. Great. All right. So we have a Standing Red. We have a Big Dog. We have Tesla. We have Mr. Boulay. We have NT. We have Pete. We have Ricky. Then for other, we have Tasty Toes. Interesting name. Tasty Toes. We have Chris and we have Pavel. Chris and we have Pavel. All right. We're the winner of this. $150 cold hard cash. $150 of cold hard cash on the line. Let's see who the fastest marble racer in all the land actually is. Hang on. Shit. Why does it always do that? It always opens up in the wrong one. All right. We're just booting it up. Hang on. Let me just pause that for one quick second here. I'm trying to make sure that things don't just error out on us. We have a lot of screens open, probably too many screens. Right. We definitely don't need this one. I'm worried that I might be clocking my own CPU or GPU or whatever the hell it is here pretty soon. So I'm just trying to get ahead of it by cleaning a wee bit of this up. All right, folks. If you haven't been here before, this is something we like to do every single week to celebrate a Payday Friday. So even if you don't care about the market, but you want to come back every single Friday to get a potential free trading account, or on top of that, $150 of cold hard cash, and maybe both, that's what we do every single Friday to celebrate, obviously, Payday Friday. What you need to know about this marbles race is all that matters is winning. It's prison rules. It's just who can cross the finish line the fastest. That is the winner of the race. No questions asked. You're allowed to use steroids, performance-enhancing drugs. You're allowed to take out your competitors. You're honestly allowed to do whatever it is the hell you want to do, because all that matters is winning. So with that in mind, folks, ladies, gentlemen, everything in between, do not blink. These are 10 of the fastest racers in all of the land. You're not going to want to miss this race. So let's get going in 3, 2, 1. And we are off. Who's going to win? Who's going to win? Who's going to win? All right. Ricky with an early start. Pete right behind him. Ricky and Pete are the first to get the drop. Pete choosing to go left. Ricky choosing to go right. And, they're doing the old switcheroo. Let's go into the driver cam with Pete here. Pete leading the race, followed by NT. Tesla not far behind. Can Pete catch the speed up? Yes. Dominant lead from Petey Boy here. All right. Looks like we're going into some sort of, I guess, elevator. This is Rusty Remnants. All right. Pete, the first up the elevator. Second place is Boulay. But remember, there's no prize for second. All that matters here is winning. Pete leading in hot pursuit. Pavel, Boulay, and NT. All right. Let's see. We have quite a bit of a race left. Who is going to be the first one to cross? All right. Pete going in the whoopty-doopty, loopty-noopty. All right. That is actually the true race name. All right. How are we going? Boulay, Pete, NT, and Ricky. Big Dog is in the race as well. Pavel. This is honestly anyone's race. We're about to go into some sort of... Pavel. Somehow using this little misstep by everyone else to get a lead, but who's going to get out of this hellish hamster wheel first? Time will tell. Pavel, who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? Who's going to get the first drop? Pete somehow reclaiming his lead. NT and Chris, man, the hamster wheel from hell really switched things up. We still have quite a bit of a race to go, though. Quite a bit of race to go. NT, Chris, Pete, who do you guys have? Can Pete get through? NT is right there, and so is Chris. NT is battling it out. All right. Uh-oh. Who's going to move? Who's going to move? Ricky, out of nowhere. If you ain't first, you're last. Ricky knows that. All right. Ricky now leading the race, followed by Chris and Pete somehow dropping all the way to 5th. What are you guys doing? This is just craziness. Ricky, you got to drive. You got to just feel the road. Oh, Pete back in the lead. Pete, I love that grit. Pete refusing to give up. Pete is refusing to give up. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. All right, Ricky taking the right path. Pete and Chris taking the left path. Let's see. Will the high road be worth it? Will the high road be the right road? Ricky on his own, getting a very swift drop. Uh-oh, where's everyone else? They're beneath him. Chris and Pete in the background. Ricky got confused. Chris is now leading the race, and we're out of the song. Uh-oh, it's about to rip a little Kohrs on the cob. Here we go. We're getting into our feelings now. We're getting into our feelings now. Chris, what are you doing, buddy? Chris, we're getting into our feelings with Kohrs on the cob. Pete back in the lead somehow. Pete out of nowhere. Fucking Pete. Jesus, Pete. Just like the Knicks. All right, we have our winner, chicken dinner. Pete, Chris gets the silver medal, worth nothing. Pavel gets the bronze medal, worth nothing. TT, Ricky, Boule, NT, Standing Red, Big Dog, and Tesla not even trying. I mean, Tesla, what are you doing? Tesla died. Tesla yeeted himself off the map. He's been doing so poorly. He's like, you know what? Just don't even care. Standing Red just finished. Big Dog doesn't even know he's in a race anymore. So we have a self-unaliving. I mean, the winners of the race, congrats to you guys. The losers here, it's like, do you even know that we're in a race? But anyway, join me in a round of applause for all the competitors here. Shout out to Pete. That was a big back and forth, but at the end, you proved to have the grit, the perseverance, the really just, I guess, fucking follow through, honestly, that just no one else had. So huge congrats to you, Pete, and actually to all the winners. I will be reaching out to you at some point today, just so you folks know. I will be reaching out to you. All of you in the race did win a prop account. And then on top of that, Pete, you won the $150 of cold hard cash. So I'll be reaching out to you for your PayPal email so I can send you that cash today. Congrats to everyone. Congrats, congrats, congrats. Congrats, congrats, congrats. And how's the trade doing? Trade's doing well. I'm up almost 2K per contract or per account. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 11 accounts are up 2K. Maybe I just go stop break even. It's a free trade. All right. We're not losing money. We're either making. Do I want to make it exactly 4K? We'll make it exactly 4K. We'll pay for commissions. All right, we're shooting for 4K per contract or per account. We're trading on 11 accounts, so not so bad. Should have taken more steroids. You should have. You should have, you should have, you should have. Like I said, I really like this 40 target level. I'm overstaying my welcome a little bit, but we're going to see how this plays out. We're going to see how this actually plays out. SPY is ripping. Qs are ripping. Tesla's picking up. The excitement's starting to build. AMD, Micron went back green. Tesla's back green. NVIDIA, intraday high. Google, intraday high. Microsoft, at least not dying. Meta, actually showing some life right there. We got some movement, folks. We got some movement. Did they bring anyone on? Did they bring anyone on? All right, we're just waiting for this IPO. We're waiting for the IPO to see how crazy it can actually get.
JP Morgan and Bank of America are each taking home about $75 million. So that comprises about 85% of the fee pool. Now, the spread itself is 0.67%. That's below what we have seen, even for bigger deals, but it makes sense that $100 million would kind of be the amount that SpaceX is willing to shell out in terms of underwriter fees just on an absolute basis. And then you kind of backtrack from the offering size to get that lower spread.
Like I said, looking for 4K.
Leslie, stay close. Stay very,
nice 200-point
close.
trade.
Leslie Picker at Morgan Stanley today.
Not going anywhere.
I figured not.
Like that.
Meantime, SpaceX President and COO Gwynne Shotwell sat down with Morgan Brennan last hour, saying the company does not expect to spend as much CapEx as its competitors.
I think our use of compute is pretty efficient, so I don't think we'll have to spend quite as much CapEx as they are. And we also demand that our coders are quite efficient in their code as well. So let's put it this way, I hope not. I hope we don't have to spend that much money.
Let's bring in Chris Kemp today, former Chief Technology Officer at NASA, founder, chairman, and CEO of Astra, another space company. Astra went public in 21 through a SPAC, but completed a take-private deal 3 years later. Chris, it's great to have you. Thanks so much for the insight today.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Shotwell,
why is he speaking so quickly? Dropping a little bit here.
She was asked about operational friction, things that might make
at 166. But remember, the IPO is 135.
Aside from
so still technically
launch day jitters and sort of nervousness, she didn't really have a lot that was, she thought, weighing on the future of operations. That seems like a pretty constructive note.
Well, I mean, I think SpaceX has done a fantastic job with the Falcon 9 program, and obviously they're putting a lot of energy into Starship. And
why is he speaking like that?
It's a great company, a lot of great engineers, and I think they have a lot to be optimistic about.
When you think about it, we talked to Sean McGuire of Sequoia as well this morning, a VC that's going to do very well on this deal. His argument was that orbital compute
still down on that damn Apple play, but everything else is up.
I
have AMD calls, Q calls, MU calls.
Can you sort of explain that to viewers?
I have SPY calls. I have TSM calls.
Well, I mean, I think if you look at space is obviously a place where you have an enormous amount of energy available through solar. It's always sunny in space.
And I'm crushing
you have a lot of companies
currently.
Putting satellites up to do surveillance, communications, and I think we're going to see a lot more infrastructure in space. I'm here in the UK today because there's only been one launch out of continental Europe last year, and it failed. So I think every sovereign nation, every country is looking at installing spaceports, and we're going to need a lot more launches and a lot more infrastructure in space.
The layperson might argue or might wonder, okay, zero oxygen, radiation, getting up and back, managing not just being an astronaut, but being an IT worker. How do those things get resolved? How much of a hill is that?
Well, I think satellites don't need people. Most of these satellites are autonomous systems that orbit Earth for 5 or so years, and we're constantly seeing them upgraded. So as technology gets better, we're going to need to launch more newer upgraded satellites. Like your cell phone has 3G, 4G, 5G. We're going to see better services rolled out, higher resolution imagery.
They're just bringing on everyone today. All right, we're past an hour now since the opening notes on SpaceX.
What SpaceX I think has done here is it's ushered in a new era of space being a real industry that deserves attention and investment from companies and countries alike.
Chris, stay with us if you could. I have a lot more questions about Starship, but we do want to just take a pause here and get back to Seema Modi at the NASDAQ as we await the first trade. Seema, what are you learning?
All right.
Well,
Any
Sarah,
update?
The latest indication we hear from the NASDAQ is that SpaceX is at around 158. Now, this can, of course, oscillate.
158.
And it's a number
this
that we
is reading
continue to watch,
163.
but happening behind me right now, about 112 executives from SpaceX are being briefed around the IPO process by the executives here at the NASDAQ, how the book building process works, the mechanisms in place to ensure a safe and orderly trade. And what we're getting the sense of is that this opening trade could happen in the next 20 to 30 minutes. So stay close
20
here
to
as we
30
learn
minutes.
more about the opening trade. But as you can see, executives here are very keen to understand how quickly we will see this IPO open for trade. I did speak to 2 different employees who didn't want to share their name, but they told me they're going to be making over $5 to $10 million on this deal. So you hear about these stories about a number of people who have been working at this company for many years, and now they have these shares. They're excited to see where that opening trade is. Again, the latest indication we have is 158. We'll keep you up to date.
Okay, thank you, Seema. Seema Modi with the update from the NASDAQ. A lot of millionaires being created today. Chris Kemp is still with us, former CTO of NASA, as we talk about the space ambitions, which are so key to the growth story. I think that isn't a critical question for the future of Starship, Chris, whether SpaceX can make it fully reusable and fly it frequently?
Well, I think there's two ways to bring costs down. You can make the world's largest rocket and reuse it as much as possible. You can also just really like a rocket fab. You can make a lot of rockets like soda cans, you know. And I think, but you know, in the middle, it's very hard. If you have a really big rocket that's not reusable, you're going to find it very expensive to operate that system. And that's where a lot of governments, United States government, European governments, they have very expensive but not reusable rockets. And so I think there's a lot of companies trying to work on both ends of that spectrum.
Yeah.
You know, it's exciting times to be
How
innovating in this area.
How close is SpaceX to doing that with Starship?
Well, I mean, I think if you look at they're a 23-year-old company. You know, you look at the time that it takes to develop a new orbital system.
Order submitted.
It's about 10 years to get it into real operations. They've done over 700 launches. I think the second peer has done an order of magnitude less. Rocket Lab's done over 70. We've done 2 successfully. Jeff Bezos with Blue Origin has done 2 successfully, and there's a Firefly, which is another publicly traded company, has done 3 I think, successfully. So
indicated price 155. It's dropped. Oh, are we going to get going soon? This is really picking up.
This is a very difficult business.
I think we're getting quite a bit closer, folks.
Really evolving quickly. They've been testing and developing
quite a bit
and getting that close. So I'm very optimistic that Starship will be operational very soon, and that'll be another step function change in the economics of space access.
So,
Order
I mean, Elon
submitted.
Musk, when he was about
Order
to open the market here, said earlier from Texas that he wants to take everybody to Mars if they want to go to Mars or the moon or beyond.
It feels like it's
I mean, how
we're getting
close
real
is that
close here.
Vision to becoming a reality.
Yeah,
where
this
we
is
really
starting
could see a commercial
to.
business
You could
develop
see
around
more
people who
trades
just
are
wanna go
starting to hit
Mars.
the hyperliquid.
Well, I mean, I
Alright,
think what you
let's
need to
get
do
going.
as SpaceX started delivering cargo to the space
Let's
station to
get
get started
going.
before they put people on the Dragon capsule and Falcon 9. And I think the first applications of space will be communications systems like Starlink. You know, I believe that Starlink, in a lot of ways is like AOL. You know, it's a network owned entirely by SpaceX. But I'm pretty excited about every sovereign nation operating their own satellites and those satellites connecting with each other and effectively putting the internet in space. And I think there's an opportunity for a huge amount of investment. If every telecommunications company on Earth
A little bit
begins
of
to
a
invest in
dippity-doo-dah here.
infrastructure in space, and then data centers, I think that's the other big one. And so that will allow the access and the frequency of space access to increase. And then the next thing that will happen is more people will be able to more affordably go to space, and we'll build more permanent infrastructure on the moon, probably initially. And then the moon is a great place because it's relatively close compared to Mars. So I think the first thing you'll start to see after we see a very successful IPO here, very successful space economy start to grow, we'll start to see a lot of infrastructure in space. Then we'll start to see the moon become a place where there's a permanent human presence, and then that'll lead to Mars. So I think we probably got 10 to 20 years here before we're able to do anything substantial outside of Earth.
It's going to get really interesting, of course. I love the soda can thing. And then I'm sure in the weeks and months to come, we'll talk about who owns the moon and all of the regulation that goes around that. Chris, appreciate you helping us understand the story on an important day. Thank you very much.
Order submitted. Order filled.
Excellent. Thank you.
All right, still ahead. Early SpaceX investor Gavin Baker will join us.
All right, let's get this party going. Come on, man.
Company back in 2015 at Fidelity. Now his firm holds a major stake.
Elon Musk may become the world's first trillionaire today, although we'll see where.
If you think he's going to be the first, you're wrong. There's no way there's not like Saudi individuals who are already.
To watch for him as he tries or approaches trillionaire status. We're back in just a moment.
I'm quickly losing my gains on this. 54. Ah, fuck. What's this level? Whoa, whoa. Pop there. Someone's doing something. It's not trading quite yet, but we just saw someone hit the tape pretty aggressively. 668 to, that's a large move. I know it doesn't seem that big because of today's range, but that's a decent move. That's a decent move for sure.
Order submitted.
Put a pending order on some of these other accounts right at like sub 700. See if there's a quick dip. Quick dip to be
Order
bought.
submitted.
I got in at 695.
Order filled.
Out at 700. Nice little $400 gain. Trying to scout my way back to getting out of the red on these. And then I probably should go break even just in case this opening is nuts. I don't want to. Or do I just take the 1,000 right now? It's a tough call. All right, we don't quite need this. You know I'm getting out at 840.
Order canceled.
So I'm leaving the stop at break even just because of risk management. But, I mean, who knows how wild things are going to get with this open. That, like, it could just wake me out for no reason. But I guess I shouldn't be risking any money because of that. But anyway, stop's break even. Stop is break even. The vegan anthem. Animals do not equal objects. Theirs for them. End speciesism. Species-based discrimination. Veganism. The doctrine that man should live without
Order
exploiting.
submitted.
What? Oh, Quant Mother fired. Quant Mother is currently live. Interesting. Yeah, that's stupid. No one gives a shit about, like, if you want to be a vegan, go be a vegan. But, like, I don't think vegans realize that they are the biggest detractor from their own group because you're so fucking intolerable about everything. If you think this endless virtue signaling is the thing that is going to get other people to finally listen to you, like, I think the vegan group has done the most to create non-vegans. Like, it's just so stupid. Like, dumb shit like that. And what was it? Species-based discrimination. As in, you think all life is equal. Like, you think that a squirrel is, like, as equal as a baby or a person, a mom, a dad, a kid. Like, that's your mindset. It's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Like, yeah, it's a squirrel.
A live shot of the Nasdaq. We are getting closer
So
to this
stupid.
historic SpaceX IPO.
I'm gonna get
indicated
knocked out
right
for
now to
break
open
even
around
here.
$155. Remember, priced at $135
Order
a share.
filled.
All right,
Waiting
break
for the
even.
opening bid. We're told it's close here on the opening price. This is the largest
Not life,
IPO
sentient
in
being
history,
species
perhaps
equals
the most watched
ableism.
as well. Elon
You're
Musk
so
set to
fucking
become
dumb.
the world's first trillionaire
Just shows how
today.
stupid
filled.
We await
people
the
are.
opening price here as the opening stock trade. Robert Frank taking a look
People
at the
are,
key
in
share price
fact,
levels we
dumb.
should be watching for both
And
SpaceX
look,
and
there's
Tesla,
one of them.
Robert, to get to the trillionaire status.
Yes, sir. We are getting close, and by the end of trading today, Elon Musk will likely become the world's first trillionaire. It all depends on SpaceX shares staying above $139 a share when they close. So let's break down the math. Now, his Tesla stake at today's current price is worth about $280 billion. Now, on SpaceX, the S-1 filing lists him with 6.4
You're just
billion
using the
shares,
arbitrary
but that
category of
includes
species
about a
as the ableist
1.3 billion
usability.
shares that he votes,
Yeah,
but
'cause
won't
we're
actually
humans.
vest until he colonizes
You're
Mars
so fucking
or
dumb.
reaches a 1
No one gives a
trillion
shit about your
terawatts of
opinion. It's a
compute.
stupid opinion.
Now, since they are not vested, I am not going to count them as own shares or part of his net worth. So, at an IPO price of $135 a share, his SpaceX stake would be worth $688 billion. That would bring SpaceX and Tesla combined to $970 billion. You add in Neuralink, which puts him right now at $980 billion, just shy of that trillionaire
just
mark.
shy.
Now, bottom line, SpaceX shares need to close above $139 a share
because you are
become
using
the first
human as
person in the world to receive
as
4
any other
commas
discriminatory
in his
person.
net worth.
Yeah,
Now, for more
because we're
on the
humans.
millionaires and billionaires being created by the SpaceX IPO and how they're
That's so
investing
dumb.
and spending their new fortunes, you can sign up for the Inside Wealth newsletter at cnbc.com/Inside Wealth. Guys.
Robert, thanks.
All right.
Talk soon, Robert Frank.
A little bit
As
of a
we get
dip
closer
here.
To this first trade, let's get back to Seema Modi at the NASDAQ. Seema.
Hey, Carl, anticipation is building, and once again, the IPO team here at the NASDAQ, they're briefing the executives here of SpaceX to help them understand how far we are from the opening trade. The latest messaging we have from the NASDAQ is that we are about 5 minutes away.
5 minutes. Buckle up, Buttercup.
Is $150, so that's what we're
5 minutes. Buckle up. That puts us at 11:45.
Right now, expected to open at around 150, but that number keeps oscillating, so we're going to keep a close eye on where it will open for trade. Obviously, a big moment for the NASDAQ. They were able to clinch this high-profile deal, and a number of executives we've been speaking to here say they've been waiting for this moment for 24 years. There are a number of heartfelt stories being shared by a number of different people, IT managers, people who are in the C-suite, about their experience, the journey it took to get to where
a whole bunch
they
of
are
new
today. Now, again,
multimillionaires.
minutes away from when SpaceX, a record-breaking IPO, will open for trade. We'll keep you guys updated.
Yahoo Finance only shows 135. What am I doing wrong? They're just posting the IPO price.
It's majority of employees from SpaceX who are crowding around the NASDAQ IPO trade desk. And you have 2 executives here from the NASDAQ. They're part of the IPO listings team. They're walking through what's happening minute by minute and the indicative price. I can just look over here and see that, again, we're expecting $150 a share. We have Adina Friedman, the CEO of the NASDAQ, because, as I said, we are expecting the stock to open very soon here. We are a matter of just a minutes away, and people are sort of crowding around, looking over at his screen to understand where we're at.
And what is taking place right now? I mean, what does it take to open a stock of this magnitude?
Yeah, so it's putting together the book building process, right?
Order
It's matching
submitted.
shares, buy and sell orders. But, you know, the challenge and the opportunity here with
Order
SpaceX
filled.
is it's such a large IPO, 556 million shares.
Any
no
second.
exchange in the world has ever worked on an IPO like this. But I think the idea that this stock is
You have
going
an
to open
automatic
very
way to
soon from
buy
now
it? Yeah,
tells you that
market
the book building
order.
process is going very well. They're being able to match shares and sell orders and buy orders very effectively. And just minutes away here as they put together and firm up the book with the indicative price at this point, I'm just looking over my shoulder right now, at $150 a share right now, Sarah.
Golly.
Yeah, watch that indication come down from about 174 earlier this morning. Now back to 150. Watching very closely. All systems appear to be quite go, as they say, Sarah. And as we've been watching and listening to Musk in Texas today, it is a reminder that, as we said with Kramer, company's 24 years old, almost a quarter century, more than, I think, 13,000 employees who have been waiting a long time. You forget how long ago the initial disruptive technological innovations like Falcon really were.
Well, Elon said it
Order
himself very
submitted.
well, where he said, you know, it's hard to believe that this little company that I started would be the largest IPO ever. He said, if people told me this was going to happen, I was like, man, you must be smoking some really good crack because this company is going to fail, he added. Well, clearly,
Here we go.
not. Biggest IPO ever here. And you know, it's grown. The majority of the revenue today is derived from Starlink, of course, the satellite company of communications, and there are all sorts of projections about what that could mean for the telecom business, and a little bit from XAI as well. Obviously the AI company that competes with others like an Anthropic, even though it does a deal in business where it sells compute basically to these big players, these hyperscalers, Google as well. But ultimately, it's a future bet,
Order
right, on the
canceled.
businesses, including the Starship business, the launch business, that it will be able to do this in a cost-effective way and a profitable way that will change how we think about
Any second. Buckle
and
up.
interact with space, and whether we're able to go there, as Elon Musk himself said this morning.
When does it go
to
live?
take you
In
to
a few
Mars
seconds.
and the moon and
In
beyond.
a few
not just
seconds.
cost effective, but in the words of Wolf, which of course initiates today, outperform 175, near zero launch costs, which in their words creates one of the biggest moats in the history of American and global business. Seema, you got something?
Yes, Carl and Sarah, the latest indicative range is 150. I did hear a NASDAQ executive say 146 again. So we're at the
Last call. They're
We are
getting
1
ready.
minute out.
Here we go, folks.
Gets to its opening trade, and you can hear the the room building.
Let's
as we
go.
wait for that
This is
opening
it.
trade.
You're about to see.
CEO of the NASDAQ
You're about to
standing
see
by
it.
her
About to see a
trade
little bit of
team
history.
to get a sense of where we are before we get the opening trade. Again, I'm looking at the screen right now. It says 150, so that seems to be where we'll be open. But we are getting very close here as executives just pull around this
Buckle
IPO
up,
trading desk
buckle
to
up.
get a sense
Let's
of
see.
what
Is the
they can
biggest
expect
IPO in
the
history going to
coming
be a
moments here.
success or a failure?
Yeah, we're just listening in. I guess they're explaining it to the employees and investors there, Seema. Just tell us again the indication on the price as we're about to open.
Okay. Indication price right now is 150. I'm looking at the screen. That's where it seems to be at.
Hyperlink was at
I did hear him say
158.
146, but what the screen is showing is 150. But again, this is a book building process that involves a highly technical process working simultaneously agent, which is Morgan Stanley, to get these trades firmed up and all the buy and sell orders matched. And again, we are getting very, very close.
Meantime, we're starting to get some activity, say, on social media. David Solomon of Goldman Sachs tweeting a moment ago, congratulating SpaceX, reminding folks that Goldman and Elon's relationship goes back some 15 plus years. Goldman also posting some photos with the words "Go for launch" of their bankers and traders wearing green shoes.
We're live.
Everybody's in the green
Here it
shoes.
is, 150. Coming out of the gate at 150. We are live. We are live. We are live. You just saw history. That is the largest IPO ever live. We are at 150. Honestly, not as much crazy volatility as I thought.
From the stock opening for trade.
We're on the
Again, we have
15-second
IPO
chart,
trading team.
so we're going to be seeing if there's any real craziness.
It says 150.
A little bit of a pop. It's stable at 150.
Order canceled.
Again, the price that it priced at was 135. It's open for trade at 150.
150.
There's the moment. Got it on
Pretty stable. Honestly, a lot more stable than I thought it would be. Wow, they did a really good job balancing it out. A really good job. So you can trade it. Everyone can trade it right now, live at 150.
You can tell that there is applause, excitement, hugs, smiles. I mean, there are a lot of employees who started here day one in 2002, and so they've been waiting for this moment. I spoke to two engineers here who said their compensation package was 100% equity. They didn't even have any salary. So for them, this is the moment. They actually get to make it big. And also,
NASDAQ is getting
think about
hit
what's
on
next
this.
for them. I asked that one of the IT engineers who is going to be making over $10 million, whether he plans to retire. He said no. He has so much pride that has been attached to SpaceX and its story. He's going to ride this one out.
Order submitted.
Absolutely great coverage on an important day. I mean, a moment like this, you think back to all the
Order
landmark
submitted.
IPOs we've covered in real time over the years, going back to Facebook and Uber and Twitter and Baba, but nothing quite of this size. And just again, a reminder of what a remarkable moment is.
And it's
the
climbing.
Monetization, the capitalization.
It's climbing.
Things that Americans in this case have been working on for literally decades.
Americans.
All the hard work that comes
Americans.
behind that from the street, from the banks, all the relationships that have to get built. It is an incredible thing.
Yeah, it's a juggernaut, and it's a record
And
breaker
it's
in
pumping.
so many ways. How much money they raised, the valuation,
150 to
which we're,
160,
watching, north of 177
up 10 buckaroos,
$1.77 trillion. Seema, it also has to be a
Up
good moment for the
10
NASDAQ where you
buckaroos.
are, and the fact that they were able to open this smoothly.
Order submitted.
And early.
Order
I mean, we
filled.
thought it was maybe going to go into the
Order
afternoon.
filled.
Got a little scalp right there. I
We were
bought it
putting
at
together
500.
research on when some of the most high-profile deals have opened for trade. Cerebras, which before
Little
SpaceX
drop there
was
at
the biggest
160.
IPO of
Is it
this
going to
year,
hold?
raising
Are
over
we
$5
pumping?
billion.
Do I hear
It opened
170,
for trade at around
175?
1 p.m. Eastern. You go a little further back. Lyft, Snowflake, opening at around 12:45 to
We
1 p.m.
are
Eastern.
live.
The fact that it's
We
opening
are
before
live,
noon,
folks.
It tells you that the stress test and the mechanisms
If you
that
guys
they
could
put in
do me a
place here at
huge
the
favor
NASDAQ
and
to ensure that
smash
this
that like, don't
process
forget to
was
subscribe. If
speedy
you
and
like
effective,
active trading,
it
shout out
worked,
to
and here we are
TPT.
with
Use code
SpaceX,
Goonie. You can get
on
up
its
to
first day of
40%
trade, now
off.
up
Use code Goonie on
18%.
Vanquish,
And,
35% off.
another thing
We
to
are
take into
rocking.
account is how SpaceX will now be joining some of the biggest and most powerful companies here that are housed
It's
at
pumping.
the NASDAQ, like the
Here's your
likes of
SpaceX. It's
NVIDIA,
climbing.
Apple, Microsoft,
162.
Salesforce. So it's interesting to see how quickly this is going to
162.
become one of the biggest names here at the NASDAQ. And then, of course, the rule change, right? The fast tracking that SpaceX will now now have to be included into the NASDAQ 100, which means so many people who just own the ETF will now have exposure to this one name. That is expected to happen in 15 days' time.
Yeah,
We
to
spoke
be
to
in
the
the
president,
NASDAQ.
Nelson Griggs of the NASDAQ, about that, and he thinks by late June, early July, SpaceX
All
will
right.
be in the NASDAQ 100, guys.
Tagged
In the
163.
halls of the NASDAQ, there are giant photos of the opening bell from Tesla's first trade, NVIDIA's first trade, AMD's first trade, and you bet that this picture is going to go right next to it.
What is the picture?
Let's get to Leslie Picker as well, see what the picture looks like over at Morgan
currently
Stanley
162. We're up 10
Hey,
bucks.
Carl, yeah, lots of cheers over here as well. And now the stock is doubled from that opening print, up about 20%. At the 11% pop at the opening price, it's just under a $2 trillion market cap. So now it's up to about $2.2 trillion. Remarkable for the world's largest IPO we've ever seen. I know you all were talking about just how quickly it opened relative to our initial expectations. We've seen smaller deals open much, much later in the day, but I think that really speaks to just the name brand and awareness.
It's holding
for
160
SpaceX, this idea
decently.
That, it's been
Here's
telegraphed
the
for weeks now that this
15-second
was
chart.
coming and that people need to be putting their orders
Holding
in,
160.
if they want to
For all of
trade
you
in order
who
to get
applied
this
for the
thing
IPO
open.
and got in
So
at
they were able
135,
to get the
congrats to
volume.
you.
I heard that they opened on
You're up a
60
nice
million shares.
23
That's more
bucks.
than 10% of the offering size, which of course allows the stabilization agent as well as the NASDAQ to feel comfortable enough to open the stock at that price of about $150 per share.
Order submitted.
Now, one other point I'd mention, the fact that this stock is trading in the green.
Order
I know there was some
filled.
discussion earlier about the green shoe and when that gets exercised. I think you want to see some comfort that the stock will remain above its IPO price. But of course, if it is exercised, this company could raise another $11.25 billion. Obviously, this moment is important for SpaceX because it is such a gigantic capital raising opportunity. 15% above the issue size is the typical overall allotment there. $11.25 billion in additional capital if this stock trades higher today and or continues to do so over the next 30 days, if not today. So they're able to exercise that,
Holding
guys.
160.
Really quick,
Is this
Leslie,
its first
if you
higher
were
low?
looking at a
Gearing up for that
typical
next move,
20%
170.
pop, that would put
I
you
mean,
around
there's no
162.
technicals to
We're
really build
almost
it off of.
exactly
These
there.
are the first prints.
Yeah, it is pretty remarkable.
Robinhood
because
crashed.
that 20% goal
This is why you
kind
shouldn't
of
be on
what
trash
people see as
brokerages.
the gold standard for an IPO. It's enough that people feel good about it, but it's not a double in the sense that you'd be leaving a tremendous amount of money on the table. In this case, you know, $75 billion on the table if that stock were to double. So a 20% pop is usually seen as a very well executed deal, because people
Dude, the
who
amount of money
invested in
hedge
the
funds and
IPO
bankers
feel
are
good,
making off of
and
this
the company
is
doesn't feel like it,
crazy.
you know, had this big opportunity cost and could have priced it higher, which is actually really interesting because of the process and what we've been talking about, which is so unique with regard to the fixed price. They didn't go through the usual gamesmanship of a price range where they'd kind of assess demand, and it, you know, I kind of wonder if that fixed price
Market is kind of
an
recovering.
anomaly
Dip,
for
dip, dip.
SpaceX, or if
Dip
it's
buyers
something
stepping
that
in.
will be
Tesla
used
getting hit.
with
Almost
other
people
companies,
switching from
especially
Tesla
that have
to
this kind of
SpaceX.
caliber and name recognition.
It's
in
at
the future.
164 and climbing.
Leslie Picker over at Morgan Stanley. We'll talk in a bit. Thanks so much, Leslie. Meantime, at this price, Elon Musk officially becomes the first trillionaire.
Remember, above
of the human
139,
race. Our
he's
next guest
a
was an early
trillionaire on
investor in
paper.
SpaceX twice
Not that he can
at two
like
different
access
funds.
that capital.
Joining us this morning in a CNBC exclusive is Gavin Baker, currently managing partner and CAO at Atreides Management, a large shareholder of SpaceX. He's been tweeting actively today. Gavin, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Who's this guy?
Talk about this moment. How does it feel?
Dude, why do they all look like that?
It feels
They
like
all
a
look
point in a
like
journey.
hipster dads.
This is not the end.
All of the guys they've
I
had
think
on
it's a
today
new
have the
beginning
exact same
of what's
vibe, the
hopefully
same
even
class.
a
I
more
think they
exciting
shop
journey
at the
to
same
moon,
place.
to Mars, to
If anyone is
orbital
surprised that
compute.
Robinhood isn't working,
but
come on.
it is special to be here at Starbase with the launch towers behind us.
It certainly was probably one of the more emotional opening bells, at least with Musk, that we've ever seen. I do have to ask you, though, now, public life as a company comes with its own set of challenges, impatience from the street, quarters, disclosure. What's that going to be like for a business that is so capital intensive and runs on long cycles?
Just woke up, no
Just
shower,
point
plus
you to the
21
early
million
days
today.
of
Hell
Amazon,
yeah.
which was investing heavily into business, and the stock market was very
Chilling at
supportive of those
167,
investments,
dude. It's
because
going.
it saw that there was an ROI.
What? That's a
We know
successful.
that SpaceX was able to get, per my friends at Altimeter's calculation, a 55% IRR on their Colossus One data center. So when you have IRRs like that, I think markets are generally supportive of capital investments.
Submitted.
What does Elon need to do? What does SpaceX need to do to get to that? To get to this kind of valuation and profitable place from your perspective?
Well, I think we need to take a step back. And a month ago, SpaceX did not have a cloud computing business. Now, by some measures, it is the 4th largest cloud ahead of Oracle. And they did that in 1 month.
That's crazy.
Let's see what they do in a year. The owners of landed power are heavily incented to give it to people who can energize it first. The seller of GPUs, i.e. Jensen, likes to give them to people who are going to use them. So I think a really important variable for SpaceX is how many gigawatts can they bring on over the next few years, because they are monetizing these gigawatts of terrestrial compute at a very high rate.
165 holding decently.
When are we reusing Starship such that we can put Starlink V3 satellites up into space, enable direct to cell, and then orbital compute soon after? So I think there is a path here as a public company, with a series of events and milestones that investors can use to track the company's progress.
What are you doing with your stake in the meantime?
They're all like really cagey about
in the
this.
IPO, and I tend to take a very long-term perspective.
Yeah, they like
companies, especially those where I've been involved
they're
for
all
a
gonna
long
be
time.
selling it as quickly as they can. Come on,
Kevin, it sounds like you're suggesting to the degree that there is scarcity in compute and the purveyors of compute sort of have to decide who gets what and when, that space over terrestrial, that space might command maybe incrementally more attention or preference?
Yeah, I think orbital compute is going to become a reality. I think it makes sense from first principles. The very simple math is if it costs $60 billion to bring on a gigawatt terrestrial data center, 25 of that is for power and cooling that you do not need in space. And 20 power, cooling, the shell, the land, all of that. But obviously you don't need land in space. You don't need power or cooling in space. They are free. So there's $35 billion of GPUs in each gigawatt. And so the calculation that I think is intellectually honest to do is to look at the cost of launch relative to the cost of that $25 billion in power and cooling. And with Starship, it'll be $5 billion, the launch cost, once it's full. And that means that it costs $30 billion to put a gigawatt of compute in space relative to $60 billion here on Earth. Now, repair and maintenance is an issue that we're going to have to work through, that the company is going to have to work through, that SpaceX is going to work through. But they've been very good at working through really hard problems in the past.
That being said, what do you think that the future is for land-based? I mean, some of the neo clouds are still trading well today, but is this a situation where there's enough to go around, we can feed all these kids?
Little bit of weakness showing up.
Yeah, I think we're in a severe compute shortage that
I cannot believe how well behaved
severe
this is
by the day, and I think this is well understood by people on the ground.
Man, the team at Morgan Stanley matching this up, they crushed
rental
this.
prices fluctuate, but we're in a severe compute shortage. I don't think we will ever decommission terrestrial data centers once you have built it. I think it's going to have value, but I think there may be a day in the next 10, 20 years when the overwhelming majority of compute that is installed for planet Earth happens in outer space and is orbital compute.
Orbital compute. Do we lose them? I think we lost him. He's just sitting there.
By the way, I can't hear can't hear anything.
Sitting there super awkward. I think he handled that kind of well, honestly. Super awkward.
All right, we are here with Nelson Griggs, the president of the NASDAQ. What a fascinating 30 minutes to get to the opening trade. I think a lot of questions about how the NASDAQ was able to get to this first trade in such a speedy manner.
Good for those employees, the early ones who are now millionaires, the guys who just like had equity forever. Like, good for them. They deserve it. They took a big risk on a company that was most likely not going to make it. It did make it, and now they're millionaires. Like, they deserve every penny. They took on the risk.
The book came together as they were hoping to in a very efficient manner.
The retail allocation of 20%, that presented a big unknown. How do you think how that went?
Well, you want to put that in context. So 20% is roughly 15 billion of the raise was retail,
all right,
which is
larger
larger than most IPOs. That's a huge IPO. So I think that added a little bit of support to the stock for sure. It's obviously Tesla's a very retail-owned stock as well. So they love the excitement, the story, and they're very educated investors, and they were excited to participate.
Walk us through some of the mechanisms that are now in place in case we see a lot of volatility in the stock, because it is right now sort of up
it's
20%.
holding
We're
160.
watching it closely.
Yeah, there is a process in the market called limit up, limit down, where if you see a sudden burst in price, then you might have a pause in the market. But usually that would happen very quickly. It has not happened. So we would anticipate a pretty fluid rest of the day today. I'm sure it's going to move around some as investors are looking to either increase their positions or take some profits. But that limit up, limit down really just gives the pause of market if you had a sudden burst in the price. About 10% up or down in this case, and we don't see that happening right now.
You don't see that happening?
Well, we would anticipate if that would happen, it might be a burst after the open, meaning there's a heavy bunch of orders that could not get in, and they got in a lot of retail-driven orders, and that didn't happen. So I'm not saying it definitely will not happen, but we feel like we've reached a point of stability at this point.
With all the data you've captured over the last 20 minutes, how would you characterize the amount of demand for this IPO?
I think incredible. You look at a deal of that size, again, the largest ever, 75 million. The largest prior to that was 30 million at Aramco. So the size was unprecedented. The demand from the long-only participants was significant. So the combination of long-only, great retail participation, obviously some more active traders. I think it was a very diversified book.
SPY getting hit, Q's getting hit ever since this.
And obviously SpaceX
turned into a
also is right there for the
sell the news event thus far.
Have they been watching this IPO closely, do you think?
I would think they certainly would, to say how did it play out? Can the market digest an offering of this size?
And how much retail participation to allow?
Yeah, and every company is different in terms of the retail interest, but clearly they'll take some learnings from this, as well as the banks. The banks are
Tesla getting hit. That's kind of noteworthy, I feel.
Larger deals, saying,
all right, trading
158. And what they may want to consider. So I think, yes, it certainly offered a good blueprint.
Opening before 12 p.m. Eastern. Do you think this is just what we should expect from IPOs going forward?
I think it's going to be IPO by IPO. We put all that control in the hands of the stabilization agent because they're the ones who really have to make sure there's enough demand after it opens to make sure there's stability. So I think it's a deal-by-deal case. It's in their hands, and I think they felt great about the timing, and we're all excited. You can tell there's a lot of excitement here right now.
A lot of excitement. Walk us through the people who are here and what you think is next. I mean, you're here on the second floor. Where do you take this crowd after this?
Well, there's a lot of brilliant people in this room right now. So you think about people who have been with SpaceX for a long time. They've been around for 24 years.
Little dip. Is it going to get bought, or is this going to cascade?
We have engineers. We have the individual who's responsible for the launch of the rocket this morning. So it's a great group of people. Obviously some NASDAQ folks as well, some bankers, but it's a mix of people.
Well, a historic moment for NASDAQ, SpaceX, the underwriters. Thanks for your time. Nelson Griggs, president of the
underwriters,
NASDAQ.
like, come on. We're really giving them an applause.
Okay. All right, Seema, thank you very much. That's Seema Modi at the NASDAQ. Our breaking news coverage of the SpaceX IPO does continue now. Welcome to the Halftime Report. I'm Scott Wapner. We're here at Post 9 at the New York Stock Exchange. We're opened for business in the biggest IPO ever. Up about 16% right now. We'll track every single move of it. SpaceX investor, Altimeter Capital founder and CEO Brad Gerstner is with us here. Stephanie Link is as well, Malcolm Etheridge, and Rob Seach. It's great to have everybody here. It is a momentous day. The timing of this, getting it open before noon, momentous in and of itself. You got a big allocation Yeah. What do you think you're buying into today? What do you feel like you are?
I mean, first, let's just take a moment. Scott, first, thanks for having me on.
Dip here.
Take a moment to celebrate what an incredible day this is for America. What an incredible day it is for the hard work
They all
of
look
the
like this, man.
thousands of people at Starbase who've worked to put us back on the top in space. Remember when SpaceX got started, right? We didn't even have a shuttle to go to space to pick up our own astronauts. We were paying the Russians to go get our astronauts.
Paying the
Today, we're back on
Russians.
the top in space. I think this is what makes the country great. It's a great moment to celebrate. With that said, yes, we were buyers in the IPO. We were lucky enough to be shareholders ahead of the IPO. I think there's an incredible moment for the company. The numbers that are out there are not layups by any stretch, but hopefully today we can unpack that a little bit, Scott, because I think they have a real path on both AI hyperscale compute, on X.AI, on launch, and the things they're doing in connectivity that are going to change the country.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned some very, very big numbers, and this is where the real work begins, right? To try and reach those lofty targets that some have set, including the company itself.
Right.
A TAM of $28.5 trillion. Morgan Stanley's looking for SpaceX's revenue to reach $3.4 trillion in 2040.
poppin'.
Lofty targets, obviously, by Goldman
12.
Sachs as well. So now we see what they can do from here.
Right. Well, I mean, let's not go all the way out to 2040. I think it's 160 billion, which is a little more pedestrian in 2028. And remember, something extraordinary happened. The last time I was on the show, just a couple weeks ago, I said everything about the IPO changed. Why? Because they had moved into the category of being an AI hyperscaler. In literally 6 weeks, they went from not in the game to $27 billion of AI hyperscaler revenue with big deals. With big
Still
deals
just
from
chilling at
Anthropic and
160.
Google. What is the one thing we can all underwrite? I think we can all agree Elon Musk and the team at SpaceX are as capable as anybody on the planet. Jensen has said they're number one at standing up terrestrial data centers, at standing up AI data centers. On my podcast, Jensen said they did in 100 days what it took others 2 to 3 years to do. So if the bet, in going from, 20 billion or 18 billion last year to 160 billion, a huge portion of that is standing up AI data centers and leasing them right to the Anthropics of the world, the Googles of the world. I think they're going to run away and consolidate that business. My estimate is in a few years, they're going to be the largest AI hyperscaler in the United States.
I mean, it's probably why, as you heard Sequoia's Sean McGuire in the interview with our friends in the prior hour suggest that massive TAM that I mentioned could be, in his words, an
Total
underestimate.
addressable market.
This company has the most important mission of any company in history, he said. Thinking about 10 years from now, I think of it more like NVIDIA 3 years ago. High confidence in the explosive revenue growth that they can deliver. And he made the point, I think, which was really interesting to listen to.
Tesla's still
and they
bleeding
can
on
ramp
this,
really quickly. To
but
your point, they've already proven their ability to ramp
SpaceX
certain parts
catching
of the
a
business
bid.
really quickly. So doubt those large numbers at your own peril, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, listen, again, today, this was not a get-rich-quick scheme today. $1.7 trillion is not a inadequate valuation. You see the stock up 20% today. So when I was getting calls from my mom and my siblings, should I buy the SpaceX stock on retail? I said, it's not a get-rich-quick scheme, but if you want to own it for a year or 2 years, I think you're going to do really well. Competitive
I
returns
agree. This
from
is something
one.
to be
I mentioned
investing
the AI
in. I don't know
hyperscalers.
if
What
the
we haven't
active
mentioned
trade is
the
there at
pending
the
acquisition
moment.
of Cursor. Look, we were looking at investing in Cursor. I think it was probably the next best lab in the country beyond the frontier labs. We thought this company could get to $10 billion in revenue on its own this year. Right now, coupled with SpaceX, we think they can really have a shot at building with that huge compute infrastructure, really building another frontier lab. Remember, intelligence is the log of compute. They have the largest coherent clusters in the country. And so we think they're going to be in the game at building X.AI into a real frontier lab.
Steph, you're one of the few in our orbit, pardon the pun, who wanted in on this IPO, who said you're going to be a buyer. Are you?
I thought this was going to be up 40, 50%, up 20. It's an absolute screaming buy. But I also said you buy a small position, it's going to be volatile, and you just set it and you forget it.
Tesla's still getting hit.
He has a great track record, Elon Musk. Tesla was up 25,000% since their 2010 IPO. And that is a big, big number. So who knows what this company is going to do, but a total addressable market, even if it's half of the 28.5 trillion that is estimated, that's still huge runway for this company. And founder-led companies usually increase shareholder returns by double. So you want to own a founder-led company. They have the sense of urgency.
Interesting.
And he does. We know that for facts. The space business, they have a 90 share. Starlink, they have 10 million customers. Brad just talked about the AI opportunity. There's a lot of ways this company can win. They can just win in one of these things. And I think the stock is much higher.
You've owned this stock in pretty good size in private market.
And in the IPO as well. We've been participants across our client base. I think this is the most
Who is this guy?
strategically unique
Looks a little
asset
different, that one.
ever to come to market. And
Just chilling
they're
at, dude.
going to have
Very, very stable.
enormous pricing
I was
power. The
expecting
one risk is their
$10
biggest
moves.
clients, the US government.
This just
So when
shows
you
how
have
good their
that
matching
type of-
engines are getting.
type of pricing power, monopolistic pricing power, where your costs are coming in tremendously and your profits are going up enormously, the revenue opportunity and everything that Brad outlined. And by the way, if you can't listen to that and get excited about this business, there's actually something wrong with you. This IPO is the most engineered IPO in history, too. Do you think any of the underwriters are not going to support this? The size of the offering, the retail participation. So there's a lot to be excited about. The index inclusion.
Current
right?
all-time high, 168. I'll set an alert there if it breaks out.
So much that is supportive of here. Now, there is a huge underwriter's lockup coming off at some point in the future. There may be an opportunity at some point to be a better buyer. However, I think there's so much enthusiasm around this. And if you're a really long-term thinker and you believe in the visionary characteristics of this man, I don't know how you can't be excited. And I think the writing's on the wall in the roadshow that this and Tesla could be together at some point in time.
Well, that's the great speculation. So stock's up about 20-ish%. As Leslie Picker was saying from the trading floor of Morgan Stanley, the sweet spot, if you will, and how these things are, hoped to trade.
All right,
in
I
their
got my
earliest
share of
moments
SpaceX.
of
I'm
trading.
in
What about you?
officially
Interest from you or
day
no, Malcolm?
one.
No, and I think that Brad framed it perfectly
I
as
think.
far as what you should be considering this
pending.
company.
I put in my
to
share
do
to one
if
market
you're buying
buy.
in at IPO, right? The S1, the prospectus told you basically we're an AI company now, right? The focus, the TAM that they talked about, the $28 trillion, which by the way is the size of the GDP of the entire United States. But that aside, like the TAM is all from AI. It has nothing to do with launching rockets. It's nothing to do with satellite connectivity. And I'm being general when I say nothing to do with, but most of it is hyperscaler CapEx related to we're building data centers trying to unseat some of the bigger names.
Which is funny because now the biggest revenue percentage they get is from the connectivity angle.
Yes,
Starlink's the biggest contributor today. Not suggesting in any way
Well,
that
Q's
means
just
it's the
gotta
biggest
pop.
contributor in the future, because it's obviously in what you're saying is factual, but it speaks in some respects to how this company is transforming itself in real time.
But
let me finish the thought.
What I was going to say is if you really want pure play space, because the name is a little bit misleading now, SpaceX, you could be looking at like an AST that's selling off tremendously today. You could be looking at Rocket Lab, which is selling off tremendously today in response to raising capital to go participate here. Just by comparison, if I wanted a hyperscaler that's building to put AI data centers all over the country and all over the globe, I don't have to pay 100 times sales to do it. I could look at something like an Alphabet at 10 times sales. I could look at an Amazon at 3 times sales. What about XAI is so much more valuable, 27
Elon's
times roughly
name,
the value
the following,
of
the
Amazon
hype.
at this price point. That's the question I have to be asking.
I'll let you answer that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the pushback is important and fair. Just to go to the numbers for a second, I think if you look at Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley's numbers for 2028, they have AI about 2x what the connectivity or
Order
Starlink revenue is.
submitted.
So Starlink is going to be a massive, massive business. We shouldn't underestimate it. And remember, Starship being able to have the advantage that it's going to have to space unlocks everything else. So the call options that we're valuing, of orbital data centers, of all the stuff that, lies in front of us. And remember, we're applying a future multiple. We're not looking backwards. We're saying, what is this going to be worth in the future? We have the greatest visionary, the greatest engineer, the greatest operator. And let's give a shout out to Glenn Shotwell and the team. Everybody always talks about Elon, but standing right behind Elon is just an extraordinary team that has been relentless for decades, putting us back on top.
Where are we? There, it's at some of the the darkest moments of the trajectory of this company, even getting to a day like today. One of the earliest employees, I think Elon said maybe number 7 or something to that regard. But if you look at Elon himself, when he was addressing his own employees this morning from out at
charts
their
are frozen
HQ,
on that one.
the Starbase, he said that 10 years ago, I gave SpaceX less than a 10%. I'm sorry, he said I gave SpaceX less than a 10% chance of succeeding at all. That was back in 2002. It speaks to the road.
62 million traded in the first minute
to this day, and I'm glad that you
per
mentioned
minute.
her
We're still
and the
trading
role
about a
that she's
million
played, 'cause
shares,
she's been there
roughly.
from near
62
beginning
million
to
out of
help
the gate.
get
That's
this company
crazy.
to this moment.
Right, and we're here celebrating these moments, but
I got my fill. My one SpaceX,
Elon and Glenn
one
will
share,
recount time after time. Not just at SpaceX,
$164.88.
at Tesla, et cetera.
Your boys
and they
in.
continue to reinvent themselves at scale. Just think about what they did over the last 6 weeks heading into this IPO. Not to mention launching Falcon 9 with a bunch of satellites the morning of the IPO successfully into space. But just in the last 6 weeks, doing these deals,
Tesla
these AI
not doing the
hyperscaler
best.
deals, acquiring or an option to acquire Cursor. These are massive things. I can't imagine another Mag 7 company that's entrepreneurial like this at this
All right.
scale. So if you ask
My
me
stuff's
why
finally
I'm betting
updating.
on them, right? You don't have to be either or against Alphabet, by the way. You don't have to be either or
Dude,
against it. You can bet
why?
on those companies as well.
Ninja's
But
just
this
like
one,
kind of
to
going
me,
slow
if you
on me.
wanted to bet one
I'm trying to play it back
on
to the
future of
intraday high.
innovation, the best entrepreneur that combines visionary with engineering skills, you got to be in space.
It's moonshot optionality is what he's talking about. There's so many
Come on.
different verticals that they are
Ride
focused
it.
on to get moonshot
Ride it.
optionality. And I think, granted, to Malcolm's point, there wasn't a lot of
Ride it.
discussion on that topic in the roadshow. It's so funny. It was such a big
Looking for
part of the
basically the
valuation that
intraday
they
high.
didn't address it a lot in the road in the roadshow. They focused on
If
their
it takes
core
out
business.
700, I'll
That's
move my stop to break
Well,
even.
look at what Wolf is saying today, right? They're one of the early initiators. So
Why only one? Because buying
175 is their
IPOs
price
on
target.
day
So
one
you're
as an
looking 30%
investment
from the
is generally
set
not your
price.
best move.
We'll obviously see what's
Generally
happening in the
waiting,
trade here
having
tells a little bit of
patience
a different
pays
story
more.
from this moment forward.
It's very,
But they
very
call
rare
this, quote, a
that
launch
getting
company
in on
wrapped in
day
a
one is the
telecommunications
cheapest price
company
you can
wrapped in
get
a
in at.
hyperscaler. Near zero
Look
space
at
launch
Meta,
cost creates
look
one
at
of the widest
Google,
moats in
look at
history that will
Microsoft.
drive 70%
All of these are
top
great
line growth
examples
and near
of
doubling
you can do
EBITDA
large
margins
investments
through
later and get a
2030.
much better
They have
fill.
90% share in space, as I mentioned. That they also have a huge cost advantage because they have reusable rockets and they have scale. And so their launch costs with and Starship's launch costs are going to go from 14 million to something like 3 to 4 million. That is a lot of operating
Remember,
leverage
there's a
in one of their
massive, massive
businesses,
difference
and they could
between
probably get, in
active
terms of
trading
Starlink,
and investing. So you have to ask
250
yourself right now,
million customers
are you
between now
actively trading in
and
it or are
2030.
you
That's what's
investing in it?
projected.
Those are two
If they
completely
get
different
half of that,
things.
that's a heck of a lot better than where they are today at 10 million. So to me, yeah, the AI story is interesting, and Anthropic and Google certainly make it more interesting. But I think there's a lot of other parts
Get
of
skin
this
in the game.
company
Oh,
that
I'm
are
just doing
very
it to say that I got
exciting,
in
and I
on
don't think it's
day
getting
one.
enough
I like the
attention.
company,
let
and I
me
think
say
it's going to have a
one
very,
thing.
very bright
Make no
future.
mistake
I just
about
think
it.
I'm going to get
This
a lot more shares
valuation
at a cheaper
hangs
price.
on the fact that we have huge demand for an AI compute future.
Yes.
Right? They just sold this compute to Anthropic and Google at a big premium, Scott, because we are out of compute in this country. If you look at Noam Brown, who's one of the lead researchers at OpenAI, I'd encourage you to check out a tweet he had the other day. And Noam basically said that because of test time compute, if we let things run, the current models run long enough, they can solve almost any problem. What that means is that we're at recursive self-learning. The world is going to be massively consumptive of compute. He's the best at building and standing up the compute. There are rumors out there that he's already putting in for 20% of all the Vera Rubin volume.
Very close to an all-time
right, from
high
Jensen
here.
Huang. He's going to take it and stand up more data centers for himself. It creates tremendous optionality for X.AI. Make no mistake about it. Elon intends to be on the frontier himself. He is not ceding the AI race to Anthropic and OpenAI.
But at what price, though, right? Because I don't dispute anything you're saying about what the future looks like, but for the sake of the viewer, I want to just draw attention one more time to the price we're talking about paying for this, because this company's coming public and it's one of the top 6 or 7 largest companies now trading. That is massive. And it's also going to have massive implications for the entire market itself going forward the rest of the year. So I think it's really important, if you're a viewer watching this and thinking, with all of the excitement, have I missed the boat? Do I need to get in on this? Before you open up your trading app and get ready to place that trade, I just want you to think about the price that you're preparing to pay.
Well, I think Brad's made that point repeatedly, that, you know, the greatest rewards arguably have been realized in the private market to this point.
Filled.
You're paying the valuation you are today
Order
on the
submitted.
massive bet that people are making for the future.
Right.
If you don't believe in the future, then you wouldn't buy the stock today. You're obviously making some degree of a leap of faith, which is why the market cap is now above $2 trillion.
Wow.
Now, if
Above
McGuire of
$2
Sequoia
trillion.
says it's more like NVIDIA 3 years ago, is that where we're heading? I mean, that's $5 trillion.
Well, actually, you know, NVIDIA is up about 15x from where they were 3 years ago. So I don't think Sean was suggesting that SpaceX is going to be up 15x
very
over
surprised by the
course of next
stability
3
of this
years.
whole thing.
But where I think he was right is he's talking about all the untapped optionality. Orbital data centers launch 2 to 3 times a day.
Order filled.
What that unlocks in terms of the
I
space
just got
and
knocked out of the
communications
lawn.
business, what that unlocks in terms of AI hyperscaler business. Again, if you think about Terafab, this year we added 25 to 30 gigs of compute. Elon's talking about adding 1,000 gigs of compute a year. But I want to come back to this thing about whether we should be running out and buying this today, because I'm not here to, you know, pump the stock to every retail investor out there. You're absolutely right. It's fair value. You know, today it's trading in an open market, and I would say it's fair value today. There is no get rich quick scheme. We saw what happened with Cerebras, right? Just a few weeks ago. It
Going
pops
for
on
that
the
high.
open, it sells off. I think that creates opportunities then for people who are doing their work to step in.
Can I ask you a
Spy
question?
Pop, Q Pops,
When you-
very quickly
you're
gave
getting
it
a lot
back.
of comparisons to Meta. Another large IPO, came public, did what it did, sold off, gave investors an opportunity to get in because of the size, because of the news flow that was around it, because of some of the lockups that came up. What do you think about those type of comparisons, given you're an investor in both, as am I, by the way?
I mean, the reason that Facebook sold off and
Seeing
we
if
were
the 1
huge
minute can
buyers
get back
into
green
that
on the
sell-off
spine, the
was
Nasdaq
because
right
they-
here.
At the open.
They made a bet on HTML5 rather than native apps. And people didn't think that they could monetize their mobile application, and everybody was moving off of desktop to mobile. So there was a fundamental reason that caused a lot of question. It was not just a valuation question. And by the way, when it was on the cover of Barron's, if you remember the huge arrow going down, it hit 17 bucks a share. We put 20% of our fund in. It was a one-way street from there up. So I mean, like, that was a counter indicator. And what they did, like any great founder-led entrepreneur, is he pivoted. He said, okay, we'll just go build a mobile app. And they monetized the heck out of it. The same thing, I think, when you're looking at this.
Is this going to bounce right
shouldn't-
here?
You know, if you want to have a little fun and day trade this thing and try to make a few bucks, great. Have at it.
Hey, this is
But if
basically
you
what
want
I'm
to bet on
saying.
this over the long term, if you take Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs' numbers, you know, I have my 15-year-old
Order
intern.
filled.
He's around here somewhere. He's interning with Altimeter this summer. He's using
Order
Fable
submitted.
5 to build
I'm
his
going long
SpaceX
here on the
valuation
Nasdaq.
model. He's running all
Risking
these
this
Monte
recent
Carlo
low, seeing if
simulations
this
on where
cloud can
this
actually
gets.
pop.
Totally fascinating and exciting. But he said, Dad, my target price for this in 2030 is that this can be a 2 to 3x. And then we talked about what that meant for the IRR. What's the annualized return, you know, for that? So it's not a 15x over the course of the next 3 years, but I think it will be a competitive
A
return
2 to
with the best in
3x,
technology,
putting it
with
at
a call option to the upside.
like
And so for any
3 to
institutional
4 to
investor, any
5-ish
hedge
trillion.
fund investor, this is a
Remember,
must-own for
Nvidia's a
most of
$4
us
trillion
in our
play.
institutional portfolios. And 15 days from now, you're going to see 20 to 30 billion dollars of demand roll into the market as the index funds start buying the security.
Well, young Mr. Gerstner sounds like he's well on his way as well. A future guest, perhaps, of the most in the future IPOs. We'll see. The idea that SpaceX and Tesla could one day combine, you put a lot of stock into that?
Yeah, I think it's a high probability event. I would frankly encourage Elon and, you know, for his own sanity to do it, you know, running these two public companies that have such an overlapping mission. I mean, you know, at the primitive
Tesla
of
now
robotics
catching a
is
bid
AI.
for like the first time
And
ever
so,
since the
you know,
SpaceX IPO.
you now, rather than having 4 different places where he's building AI, remember just a few months ago, you had Twitter over here, you had X.AI over here, you had Tesla over here, rolling these things all together, right? And giving him both the cost synergies associated with it, the data synergies associated with it, the revenue synergies. I think it will accelerate the path, right, to Optimus. It will accelerate the path to X.AI being a frontier model.
Well, just to get Terrafab under that roof will do a tremendous amount to get you where you're talking about that call option to the upside, because right now they're not vertically integrated, which means you're losing.
And there's a debate as to whether, you know, remember, Elon has control shares and control of SpaceX. He doesn't in Tesla. Right. And so there are a lot of people saying, well, he's going to do it so that he gains control. For most of us as shareholders who want to back founders who have control, I'm actually excited about that.
Like that's one thing the public doesn't get versus like Wall Street. Like when it's founder led, like that's a desirable thing.
Consolidate his
it's just it's like the maximum skin in the game.
The Musk premium, if you will. All of you really, if you consider how unique this story is and how unique he is as an entrepreneur. He's certainly one of the greatest entrepreneurs and operators, technicians, technical thinkers that we've ever seen. If you consider, you know, a pioneer in digital payments from way back
Order
when.
filled.
Order filled.
Boring. XAI, he didn't found Tesla, but
where are we at?
He
it's just
joined and sort of took it
All right,
to
folks,
another
we're going to give
place,
this till 12:30. We're going to give
so
it another
much of
5
what
minutes to see if
everybody's
anything
gonna be
of
buying into
excitement
today
can
in
actually
some
happen.
respects is him.
Yeah.
Speak to that.
Well, I think there's too often we don't acknowledge on this desk, right, that 1 or 2 people at the heads of these companies determine their fate, right? So you want to back, if all I did in my career is back the best founders and the best leaders and short the others, I would have done extraordinarily well. Too often you try to make excuses for the person you know is not a great leader. In this case, he's an extraordinary visionary, technologist, engineer, and next to him, people like Gwen Shotwell, who are extraordinary operators. It is, you know, it's the type of people that you want to be backing. But one of the things I'd bring up, Scott, remember, Elon came here from South Africa, and Elon's talked about this, you know, at length. We need to remain the place that all these incredible people that want to invent the future want to come here. They want to come here and do it. And unfortunately, when Elon was in California, he was being demonized and attacked by people like Lorraine Gonzalez, who ran the state Senate in the state of California. And when he left California, she said, good riddance. This is a problem we have today in America. We need to celebrate entrepreneurship. This creates the abundance that we have. Yes, we need to do things like Trump accounts to raise the floor for these kids and do all these things.
And by the way, kudos to you for your involvement.
Thank you. But I look around the table of SpaceX, the number of people who came from outside the United States to invent the future, to create this $2 trillion of value.
Well, I mean,
and the true trillion in value goes to
though,
teachers and firefighters.
That's fair, but in fairness, we are having a, not that I want to go down this path, but we are having a broader debate. We are having a broader debate about immigration in this country.
Sure.
And if you want to cite the fact that he's from South Africa and we need more people of his quality or whatever to come into this country and try and be the next or move the ball of this arena forward, then your message needs to be heard as much in the halls of this place as it does down in Washington.
For sure.
Because
I mean,
that debate is fierce right now, as you know, and it's trending in a direction that's not what you hope it would be.
I would say that we are pounding the table in Washington and on sets like this. Two things can coexist. We can have a real border where people who come here illegally are stopped, and we can have a fair process where people can legally come into this country. And I would say we need to double and triple down. We need to be strategic. We need to go around the world and recruit all the Elon Musk around the world, make sure they know this place is the best place to pursue their dream, to innovate, to get risk capital, to do all these things. And by the way, when those two things get commingled down in Washington, I'm quick to point out the difference, right? These are two very separate issues. This is what made America. This is what we're going to celebrate on the 250. Folks like Elon who risk it all, come here, start with nothing, and build one of the most extraordinary success stories in the history of the country.
Well, I mean, because there's a debate even in of itself on H-1Bs.
So let's not.
You heard me. Double down on legal immigration.
I hear you. But there's a debate in D.C. about that too. So it's a
Well,
complicated
I don't think he's
issue.
a politician.
I said I didn't want to go down that road, but if you drove the car down there, we were going to go there for a minute. At least get it on the table, because all of these issues matter, and they matter in technology, as all of you know. You all take a break? We'll take a quick break. All right, we'll come back.
Take a quick
We'll
break.
talk more, obviously, about the SpaceX IPO. We will
All
talk
right,
about
folks,
what's
that's a good
happening
pause point. This is like way less. I mean, it's awesome if you got in 135 to 165, $30 gain. That's like great for you if you guys got involved in it. Massive congrats. You deserve it. I just thought there was going to be a lot more craziness. So that's kind of it. We're going to wrap it up. I mean, the market went stable. So Tesla got back to exactly where it was. SpaceX is very stable. SPY and Q's hanging out just above the high from yesterday. Stability is the name of the game, and I have to be honest, I did not expect it at all. Before I let you guys go, I just wanted to say thank you. Shout out to TPT, shout out to Vanquish, SIM-to-funded futures trading, SIM-to-funded options trading. Use that code Goonie. But most importantly, shout out to you. I know that there's a lot of new people. If you like breaking economy market show, this is it for you. If like degenerate futures and options trading, this is it for you. If you just want to hang out in the mornings to see what's going on in the world, this is for you. So don't forget to like and subscribe on your way out. I appreciate all the good vibes today. Whatever you're choosing to do in the market, I hope you're making a buttload of money. I hope you're absolutely annihilating it. So thank you. Crush it for the rest of the day. Have a good one. Peace.